Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jab, dude. He CC'd me out of dance. What's happening? Wrestler!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money,
Big money! Oh shit! We got it! We fucking got it! And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. Little bit of a packed show today. A lot of Corsair discussion and a lot of GLabs discussion. Things we got to address. Things we got to talk about. But first, I'd like to thank our lovely patrons, Garmoth.com. Hashtag not sponsored. Hawaiian, I Has Issues, Jeremy Johnson, Lord Carrot, Melt on Your Mouth, Minaria, Slytech, Talus, Acceptum, Thanks, and Wavesy.
Well,
appreciate you guys and everybody who supports us on our individual Twitch streams. What were you saying? Sorry?
hold on. If they're patrons and they're putting their website, I mean, they kind of are sponsored. Sponsors.
You know what? Actually, you're not wrong. They kind of are in a way. They are hashtag sponsored.
Yeah, check out Garmoth.com, dude. They're patrons. We love them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, actually. We are, I think legally we might actually be hashtag sponsored. So
yeah,
take that for what you will.
I'm drinking Monster, which is not a sponsor.
Is not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Next week we're gonna be trying Tang in a pouch.
In a pouch?
You remember Tang, dude?
Yeah, I remember Tang.
Yeah. If Monster doesn't get its act together and sponsor me, we're swapping to Tang. All right, you guys ready to talk about this class?
Yeah.
Yeah. Corsair's out. We've played it for almost a week. 5 days, I think. Frosty's been playing it religiously the whole time. Nashi probably hasn't even made one.
I played against it for like 20 minutes.
He did. I dueled him the other day.
I've done some questing on it and am currently finishing getting power leveled. So we have various experiences in regards to this class.
Yeah.
Actually, should we bring up the thing that we did earlier this week?
Yeah, I want to talk about the way they introed Corsair. So first, obviously, they announced it at the ball, right? They had their little demo video with the backstory and that, and it looks like the trend is all of their classes going forward are going to have some story behind them. But
please, no more scallywag introductions.
But so they did that, then they did the combat trailer, and then they did that like kind of skill, looking at the main skills thing, which they did with the Sage as well, that we all kind of liked. And then they did something new this week where they had a few of us fight Armin on stream the day before it came out. I don't know if you were there or you saw that, Rez, or heard about it.
I heard about it. I was not able to catch it, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the night before it came out, so basically Corsair Eve, me, Nayashi,
Corsair
I am Choice, and Block Jump got to go out to a hidden place in the desert and fight against Armin's Corsair, like the day before it came out. And it was like kind of a cool way to like seeing it for the first time, you know?
Right.
So I just wanted to kind of ask your guys' opinion on like if they should kind of continue with the way they did this one. Now the one thing I didn't really like the whole like the boat going to Velia and showing off, because it just kind of ended up like in disaster. You know Kidde, right?
Yeah.
He actually like destroyed the GM's boat, and yeah,
which is hilarious.
The Dreadnought. He said,
and instantly resulted in extra penalties, I believe, for being negative riding on a boat.
Dude, I saw him on Reddit say, "I'm the world's first Dreadnought kill," or something like that. And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But did you see that that's one of the changes? Is there's like some change to do with like being negative karma on a boat or something? There's like harsher punishments or some shit now. I don't.
They implemented that just for him.
It's like the devs are salty that he killed them, essentially. So good. Kidde, please keep doing what you're doing. Gotta love that man.
Anyway, so I kind of like the way that they like advertised it and showed it, and I think it's really cool the way they like had people dueling it, just because I don't know, it was like a unique way to introduce the class for at least for our server. Maybe KR's always been having stuff like this, but we never really have, so it's pretty
I
cool.
don't think so. At least not publicly announced.
Well, remember like was it Sage? I can't remember if any other classes had it, but I remember seeing like the hash in RBFs and stuff, and like I don't know, did we ever get that before? Like hash and earlier from like way back then? I don't know if we did.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway, stuff like that's pretty cool. I like it. So Perlibus, keep it up. That's a cool way to promote or get the class kind of hyped.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Of course, Choice bullied him.
No, man. Zerker's totally getting nerfed after that.
Yeah, I actually think that matchup is near impossible for Corsair. We'll get into it in a second, but yeah. It was fun. But outside of that, onto the Corsair. Rez, you played it just for a little bit. Let's start with you. How do you like it so far? I guess like just design-wise and how it looks and feels and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it personally. It's not pretty much like I predicted before I got to actually play it. I don't think I'm gonna like re-roll to it or anything. But I have been thoroughly enjoying like the movement of it.
Mm-hmm.
The movement is super interesting. I have like some little complaints here and there with like things not flowing, and it seems kind of pointless to me that they don't, but it's kind of like whatever. It's not an actual like problem with the class, I don't think. So, but yeah, I haven't like done any PvP. I've only like either against or I mean I did some RBFs where some Corsairs were in there, but they didn't really do anything. I didn't even really notice them. So, yeah, I don't know. I did notice a trial sage with like 500 points, so that's a thing that happened.
Was it Awaken or Suck? Do you remember?
Awaken.
Yeah, I feel like Suck's been making a comeback. I'm actually seeing more and more Suck sages in Wars and in RBF.
I don't know why. Awakening's still really strong.
It is, but some people just prefer the other style.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty fun, honestly. The animations are awesome. I've heard a lot of people complain that the skills are like copy paste from other skills. I don't see that so much with this class. I don't know. There's a lot worse examples than this class for like copy paste skills, in my opinion.
Gravedigger skill, or not Gravedigger, slashing the dead one.
Yeah, but even that one is like a little bit different than how slashing is. I don't know.
Yeah, especially
like,
the way. Do you have the prime skills yet? I assume you probably don't, right? Because you're not leveled up. But dude, that might be why you feel. Because I don't feel any of the connection stuff that you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know. It may just be because I still have like the pre-awakening like non-prime skills, but yeah, I don't know. It's a fun class, honestly. I think they did a pretty good job with it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
that pretty much wraps up my thoughts.
Your thoughts after fighting it? Oh wait, Rez, what about the animations? How do you like the animations?
I like them. I think they look good. Didn't I say that? I like the animations. Like the water animations and shit you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for
water.
Yeah. What about the mermaid part? Because I know a lot of people are conflicted on that. Some people are like, dude, it looks so sick. Some people are like, the mermaid thing kills it for me.
I still feel exactly the same as I believe I said last week, where I kind of wish they would have done like all mermaid or no mermaid. I don't understand why it's only like 3 or 4 skills that have mermaid with like super long cooldowns. I don't know. I kind of wish they would have just picked one of the directions to go in. Either it's like this, sword using, pirate swashbuckler that can manipulate, water to some effect by using their sword, or it's a mermaid that throws like whales at people. Like I wish they had kind of picked one or the other instead of like this weird hybrid thing that they did. But
yeah.
I don't dislike it. I just like, I don't know. I feel like it would have a better identity being one or the other personally.
Right.
And I might be a little biased because I do like the whole like water sword swashbuckler theme more than the mermaid theme. But it's not as if I hate the mermaid thing. It's just they should have just made it a mermaid class if that's what they wanted to do.
So for me, design-wise, I love the animations. Obviously, the animations and the sound effects are freaking nuts. I think the sound effects sound really cool on all these skills. The bubbly sounds, the whale singing, all of that stuff. I think it sounds really cool. But it's and its movement is super fun. Like really, really fun. Like once you start getting the hang of it, it feels like really fun the way it slides around and moves and all that stuff.
Looks like its disengage potential is really strong too.
Yeah, it has decent disengage. I mean, it kind of has like the, I don't know, it's like it does have good disengage. I don't know, it's not like, I don't have any major complaints with it. It's you can get yourself in a bind where it's really hard to get out because you can't start with the iframe. You have to use something else before you can use the iframe, which is like any Zerker will tell you. It's when it's super armor first, it's a lot more difficult to get out. But it's it still feels pretty good to be able to engage and disengage because you can engage with. So Rez, one of the reasons I was asking is because if you do Shift Q and then forward RB when you have the prime skills, like you can actually cancel the Shift Q leap animation in the air and go straight into the slashing skill.
Oh,
which gives you like a lot more distance. Like there's a lot of little like stuff like that.
So she like jumps up in the air and then slices forward.
Yeah, so she jumps in the air first and then forward RB leaps her just like way further than if you just used forward RB. It's pretty cool. Makes the engage a lot better too, because like especially if you're jumping into peel for someone, it's like you're just out of range of where people would notice you with their peripherals, so you might actually like catch people in like group play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's also super fun to do. It feels fun as hell. I like the mermaid thing, and I actually do kind of like that it's a little bit split. I also thought that the cooldowns being long would be an issue, but the skill animations are pretty long on it, and there's 4 of them, and 2 of the cooldowns are 15 seconds, and 2 of them are 20. I think when we were looking at the skills in that pre-build, the leak, they were all 20-second cooldowns. That's not the case on the live version. They're lower, and it doesn't ever feel like I'm just sitting there waiting for them like that much, honestly. I think it has
not a lot of backpedaling like Kuno, for example.
No, I mean you have to disengage every once in a while because eventually you're gonna run out of stamina. But I think like it doesn't feel like you're waiting. Like I mean I don't know. Kuno is like the skill cooldowns are the same length or longer, and like the animations are instant. Right, so you're like out of the skill. Like literally, if you use forward E, by the time the full animation ends, the skill has 16 seconds left on its cooldown, and then you have 3 other mermaid abilities.
Doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah, it doesn't quite feel as bad. But I don't know. So I kind of like the mermaid thing, and I'm really excited to see what the Rabombs are because I wonder if you're going to be able to if you're going to be using mermaid stuff in Awakening in the future, and if the Rabombs have it, you probably are.
Yeah.
But I was saying
a good chance.
Before I get into the specific like balance stuff, I think that the design of this pre-Awakening is good enough that it would work really well with most of the Awakening kits in the game. That's what I've been saying like all week. Like it has enough in its pre-Awaken kit to feel like it would support an Awakening kit really well, which is something that I feel like
is missing in some of the older classes.
No, some of the newer classes like Sage and Nova, their pre-Awaken kits just don't fit well at all with their Awakening.
Well, yeah, those are like Nova specifically is like really opposite.
Yeah, I mean Sage too, to be honest. Like Sage is slow and this like lumbering thing with like no protected skills, and you need the Prime Rift Chain to kind of make them work. But without Prime Rift Chain, they're just bad skills that are difficult to use. But the Awakening, you kind of like just stay Awakening almost always on
Nova
Sage.
too. Is you can pretty much just stay Awakening. I mean, some of the better ones will obviously swap in and out between them, but
yeah. So this one, I'm like picturing this kit. Like, dude, this pre-Awakening on Nova Awakening would be nuts, or this pre-Awakening on Sage Awakening would be nuts. It would.
I think what's going to end up
insane.
I feel like based on the design of the pre-Awakening, there probably won't be as much mobility in the Awakening kit. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I could see that, but mostly because like normally like Sage and Nova felt like they had no mobility, so you just knew they're going to get something.
Yeah, and then they got like an excess of mobility.
Yeah. So yeah, it's certainly possible they don't get as much new mobility in the Awakening. But yeah, I like the pre-Awakened design. I think it's a really cool kit with a lot of tools. As far as like actual how it feels in game right now, the PvE feels really, really bad. So the first day it was bugged. I don't know if you heard or read about that, Rez, but the first day the prime skills all did significantly less than the absolute skills, and they patched it overnight, Wednesday.
This is not the first time that's happened before with a class, right? I feel like this happened one other time.
It kind of happened with Sage, where Sage wasn't doing any damage in Node Wars for some reason.
Yeah.
Which was weird. But I don't know. I mean, it's certainly possible. There might have been some kind of instance with it with Nova. I don't really know, but it just was doing way less damage. So they fixed it the first day. So day 2, we got to actually feel what it's like in PvE and PvP. And starting with PvE, like it doesn't feel very good in PvE. Like I would honestly argue in most places it's worse than Kuno in PvE, which is a little bit surprising to me because new classes normally come out and you're like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like you just start seeing videos right away. And I honestly think it's why I don't really see that many Corsairs right now, considering how hyped people were for the class, is because even if a class is not very good in PvP, at least people can like grind on it, but it feels pretty inefficient to grind on. So one of the things that I did, I went and did Zarka Zarka the Elvia quest Zarka level 5 this week, which by the way, Russ, are you caught up on that?
Nope. Haven't even started.
Oh my god, dude. It's free gear score, dude. The APDP Zarka.
Oh, yeah, I just finished mine yesterday, actually.
So,
dude, I haven't even started my pin accessory thing yet.
What?
Oh my god, Rez. It's
oh
just
my
every
gosh.
day.
You're like a week behind already.
You're on a new class.
I'm way further behind, my guy.
No, it's 1 week. It came out 1 week ago. Or, yeah, basically a week ago.
Roughly a week ago, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you just gotta like, what are you doing, Rez? You literally, you're on a new class. You just go to like Loopy Tree or Poly every day and do it, and you get skill EXP as well. Or you go to a place where you're trying to get potion or whatever. Do one of those.
Yeah, I'm going to Tooth Fairy Forest for the Ranaros piece right now. That's what I'm doing every day.
Dude, what we do in our guild is literally after Node War or after any guild thing that we do, like everyone gets in a plat and goes to Loopy Tree or Manchums or whatever.
I want to get the pot piece though, so I can't. If I want to get that, I can't go to where you guys go, unfortunately.
Black Star set brain. So anyway, I was doing level 5 Hadum Zarka, right? And I was like, I wonder how this is gonna feel, because I already knew like this doesn't feel good at Secrea. It doesn't feel particularly good at Star's End. I also it triggers me that it does not have a pull ability. Like it doesn't have any ability that's like particularly good at pulling mobs. Everyone keeps telling me, oh, you can just swim through the mobs as a mermaid and aggro them. It's like the problem is whenever you go into melee range at mobs, they do a different animation than if you pull them from range. That's why pull skills are so valuable, is because when you pull them at a certain range, they start walking towards you immediately versus doing an animation and then walking. So it slows down every pull. Just doing the mermaid animation to pull mobs slows down every pull significantly, like 2 to 4 seconds. So it's like, I don't know. It's just not. It's not a good way to pull at all. It's a really really bad way to pull. But
you think they'll probably give her one in her bombs?
Yeah,
I hope so.
That's what I would assume.
I hope
they have so many options right now, like between the bombs and the awakening kit. I mean, I know Succession needs some too, so hopefully it's a rebomb solution. But
yeah, so that's the first thing that bothers me is no pull skill. The damage will be changed, right? Like eventually they're gonna buff the PvE damage. I'm sure they don't want the PvE to be bad. But so I went to I did Zarka, and on my Corsair I failed it, and it had like 5% left, and I had Villa, I had Simple Cron, I had Frenzy, I had a Perfume, I had Church buffs, and I had House buff. Everything.
You're fully.
And I failed it. It starts with 7 minutes. You can actually you really only can start hitting the Zarka once it's at like 6 minutes and 30 seconds because there's a long animation when it spawns.
It takes fucking forever to come out.
Yeah, so I failed it. It was at like 5%. I'm 298 AP with Kudum, right? So I redo the thing one more time on my Kuno, and like everyone knows Kuno's notoriously bad in PvE. Its damage just isn't what other classes' damage is. Like, that's one of the big things. It also doesn't have a pull skill, but its damage comparatively is also just worse. So I go do the same thing on Kuno, and I get the same buffs, and I'm able to kill the Zarka with 2 minutes to spare. That's how different it was.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
And that was Awakening Kuno. So it was just, I don't know. That part was a little bit depressing. It was kind of like eye-opening to see like the kind of damage that this class is actually doing right now, and it's not very good. Now,
Sounds to me like Kuno needs to be nerfed a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
I'm missing a Lucas crystals and the 3% crit damage from my Dandy and the all species damage, so that might play a little bit of a role because we can't, use our Awakening right now. But it still is just the PvE damage just is not very good. Like I saw a video the other day that people were posting like, dude, look, it's actually pretty good. There was a 267. Yeah, it was 267 AP Corsair that got 5k at Star's End. And I was like, dude, look what the same guy posted 3 months ago, and it was a 257, 10 less AP Sage getting 5.4. So like it's and that's without the 261 and 265 fat ass brackets. So yeah, it's definitely worse. That being said, I do think it'll get buffed. I think most people, even in KR, they all recognize that it's not very good. So I assume that's one of the big things that they're getting feedback on.
Yeah.
PvP, so there's a lot of good things about it in PvP. After they fix the damage, I think the damage feels pretty okay. Maybe Shift C doesn't really do much damage considering how long the cooldown is. I don't know if it should do more or not, but it would feel nice if it did. But again, like PvP specifically, it's like it's hard to say it needs specific things because it's missing 3 bombs and 2 C skills, and the C skills are really, really important. Like if you take the C skills, we went through this with Sage, but if you take the C skills off of any class in the game, like most of them would be devastated. Like if you take them off of Valk, they don't have their leap or purification. That would suck. Fucked. Yeah, you take it off of Kuno, you don't have Dance Macabre or Wheel of Wrath. You take it off Meiwa, you lose
nothing.
Okay. You guys don't use any of your C skills on Meiwa? Give me a break, dude. Fucking super armor sticky?
Whoa. Backward movement super armor. That shit has a big ass gap on that stat.
I don't give a fuck. That shit's busted, dude.
Talus asks, did Sage ever get its Succession Awakening skills?
Yeah, I got it the day Awakening came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got them. And one of them on the Sage aren't very good. It's that iframe thing. I guess in like a bind you could make it work. It'll save you. But the problem with it is that the end is not protected and it has no way to cancel out of it. So it's like a movement skill that's unprotected at the end that isn't particularly fast. But it is an iframe. I think it's like frontal guard into iframe while moving or something like that. And then the other one is just like their only other, besides Ator's energy, it's their only other super armor damage that doesn't require any mechanic to get the super armor. Like you just have super armor on it the whole way through and it does like okay damage. So it's what's it called? Like I don't know. So right now her kit is missing a bunch of stuff. So in PvP it's hard to say anything in particular, but the one thing that it definitely needs, and we'll see if the C skills or the bombs give it to her, is it doesn't have a lot of ways to like catch people fast. It's kind of a slower class like Mystic, but they didn't give it a lot of protected CCs. It has 2 of them, and both like really you shouldn't really be caught by it. That's why I think they're better in like group play than in 1v1, because in 1v1 it's the slashing skill, the prime version of the slashing is a super armor float, but it has such a wind-up animation that you can just protect yourself. And then the other one is when they're swimming in the mermaid thing, right as the mermaid pops out, it's a float. Outside of that, its catches are like they're just not particularly fast. So it's very difficult to actually land a CC on a player that has any idea what they're doing. So hopefully the catches thing gets addressed. I know like a lot of people don't, even myself, I'm not a big fan of having mass protected CCs. But generally slower classes do have them. So if it got them, it would be kind of nice. Or just give it it doesn't have a skill like Behead or Moving Shot or like Ankle Smoke on Kuno. Like it doesn't have any of these, or like Dragon Bite or Stigma. It doesn't have anything that's just like a fast, like, ooh, that's actually really hard to react to type of catch,
Yeah. Like your most like, I guess you could say, quote unquote, potentially like surprising CC would be that one where you dash to the side of me and you do the slash that you caught me a few times on when we were dueling. I can't remember what the hell it's called. You like dash to the side. It was kind of like you just kind of sort of got around my forward guard a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you remember which one I'm talking about? I'm probably describing it horrifically bad.
Yeah. So anyway, it's they're it's unprotected. You're talking about, it's like a borderline like a mass destruction type of thing.
Yeah, right. It was unprotected. I did catch you in it quite a few times.
After dueling you for a little while, I realized like I have to try to use that skill at absolute max distance. But dude, I mean, if you get hit by the projectile, once you see it, you just know. It's like,
yeah,
all of her skills.
I started catching on to it.
You could surprise people for the first couple fights, and then they're like, oh, okay, that's really easy to deal with.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 1v1 it's kind of rough. Like it's right now it's like purely damage trade. I don't know. So I want to talk about the block mechanic thing, because there's one part of it that I think is way too strong, and then the other parts of it I feel like aren't making that much of a difference. Like, even though it actually ended up coming out more powerful than what we saw on those on the suck skills last week.
Yeah.
Because last week it was like there were 4 abilities that had like guard break. Or no, there were 2 abilities that had guard break. Like 2 of them were whale skills and one of them was something else. And then they had like this activatable buff called Heirloom of the Crow that would give you extra guard break on a bunch of different abilities for a short period of time. And then the E buff looked like it would give you 5% guard prevention on a bunch of abilities for a certain period of time, right? But what they ended up doing is the E buff, they removed that from the E buff. I'm assuming that was all an earlier build. They removed that from the E buff and instead just made it a passive. And now it's like any of her abilities that uses the Serenica, which is her sword, will apply the 5-second guard recovery lock. And then a lot of her abilities, at least in Prime, have the guard break ability. So for example, here, let me go through some of these. Ocean's Pearl has it, which is Shift R and B. Overflow has it, which is the Q skill. Prime Wipeout has it. They're all 10%. And then the whale skills, Jetstream doesn't have it, which is Shift C. Or no, Jetstream does have it. It's 20%. Yeah, all the whale skills give minus 20%. And like, it's really nice for putting on like damage pressure, right? But because she doesn't have a lot of catch, it's hard to actually like CC people, even when their guard is like low or locked. But the one that I feel like is just way too fucking strong is SE. SE gives them, and this is mostly for group play. In 1v1 you can avoid it, but in group play it gives them a no guard recovery for 15 seconds, which is kind of forever in the context of a fight, especially large scale. 15 seconds is so long. And some classes like Valkyrie Warrior, like they can't do a lot of their cancels when their guard is broken, so it kind of like hinders their class massively. Whereas it doesn't really affect 1v1 as much, because once you see the skill starting, you can kind of avoid it. So I don't know, that vert part of it I don't like. The guard recovery for a short time where you can disengage only a couple seconds and then get out isn't that big a deal. And then even like the guard gauge breaking on hit, like it really just feels like you're doing extra damage, I guess. But But I want to show you this clip. So I was in a node war, and Raiden, he got hit by this whale skill that I'm telling you with the 15-second recovery, and he sent me the clip of it from his point of view. Because like when you're playing, you don't even notice like what I mean. You have no idea what people's guards are at, right? So you're just like running around doing your stuff. So let me stream this here through Discord so you guys can see it at the same time. If you could hop in real quick. All right. Nash, are you gonna look or?
Yeah.
You good? All right. So, this is him in Node War. We were in a 1v1 with Infernal. Here's me on the right. You could see. Here's Raiden. He's blocking. His block right now is at 81% at the start of this clip. Hit play. So he gets it. I use that skill on him like right in his face. And it breaks his block because it takes away 20% plus the damage of it. Plus, I don't know if someone else from range is we have rangers and wizards and whatever throwing random stuff. So he might have also got hit by something else. But now he like literally just can't recover his block. Look for how long. Like look how long this clip is where he's just stuck at 0 block no matter what he does.
6 more seconds.
Like 5 seconds is one thing. 15 seconds is forever. Like that is so long.
Give me my block back.
Yeah, and he whispered me and said, "Give me my block back." But it's I don't know. Like that skill, I think it does not need to be a 15-second prevention.
Yeah,
dude.
I agree. That's insane. When I was dueling you yesterday, I had to literally just reset the fight because I just had no block for forever in a day.
Yeah, I mean, the other
funny.
skills are 5 seconds, and it's like it kind of forces the Corsair to stay in and be aggressive if you want to keep it on them. But that one is like you apply it and they just have it forever. And now like he literally can't defend himself.
Yeah, it just takes you out of the game completely. It's really annoying.
Yeah. But the other versions, like I don't know, man. Like the irony is like, you know, we're sitting there saying like, dude, all these classes need this for the block classes. But like, man, all of the block classes for the most part are just using super armor in between, and it kind of makes no difference, and I still can't CC them. So like this class, I think its worst matchups are the classes with blocks, like the SA blocks. Like those matchups
Really?
are basically like unwinnable. It's like actually crazy.
Why? Like just because of the super armor rotations too?
Well, the thing is too is like it doesn't.
I think it's not really that though. You just don't really have reliable CC mechanics.
Well, that's a big thing, right? But it seems like the design is intended to be more of a bruiser than catch.
Yeah, it is.
But-
You're almost like a support for the ball. Like you're helping, you know, shred blocks and making your opponents easier to kill essentially, as well as you provide your heal mechanic with a 100%, right? So
Well, what do you do in 1v1 though?
you're fucked basically. I agree with you.
I mean,
I agree with you.
I mean, you saw yesterday, like you don't even out trade. Like it doesn't even out trade. Like if we use a skill into each other, like I lose the trade almost always. The only time I'm like winning the trades is if people are using skills to either move or run away, not actually deal damage to me. But like when I was fighting Brosamden, who's like 30 less gear score, if we both used a hard hitting ability into each other, I just completely lost the trade. And then if I use like the 2 whale skills that do hit really hard, like you just see the start of the animation, you just back away and don't get hit by it.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah, I mean,
or against like the block classes during those skills, even with the 50% grapple res, especially Warrior and Zerker, they just grab you.
yeah,
So,
they could literally not care less about
because those
that.
skills are so long. The animation's so long. And the thing is too with those so like, all right, the 2 whale skills, I was talking about this with Hunter, and he was saying that one of the things that he noticed is when you see the mermaid skill, regardless of the 50% grapple res, you know that you're completely safe to do the grab attempt and then get out because they can't do anything during
Correct.
it.
I think they need to make. I know how you said earlier how you're not really a big fan of protected CCs, but in some cases that might be necessary for slower classes. I think maybe those skills should probably have a CC attached to them to make them at least a little bit more threatening. You know,
Maybe they would
they
be,
are slower, so it wouldn't be like super impactful as far as like.
yeah, like you could react to it if you see it.
Yeah. But it's like at least it would make the skill feel safer.
Would
like
it be
if
better
someone
to
wins,
put a CC on it, or to just like reduce the animation, like
well, it
make it shorter?
depends. Like if you up the animation too much to where it's like really fast and it has like a lot of mechanics like it does, for example the whale one where it does a block like a little block destroyer, it also applies debuffs and whatnot too, right, Frosty, if I'm getting that correct? I'm
Yeah,
going off
so-
memory of yesterday.
Well,
Like
it
that could be
depends which ones,
oppressive.
but yeah, if
Yeah,
it's
that
too
could be a
fast,
little
then like
oppressive.
people are like, I think just straight up they need to nerf that, the 15-second block gauge thing. It needs to
Yeah,
just be dropped down to 5 seconds.
Yeah, I
mean,
think 15
I
seconds
still,
is too
I
much.
still maintain that just needs to go.
Yeah.
I
Well-
said it last week before we even like fought against it or anything. I just don't understand. I get the like extra block damage, like sure, I get that, even though that's still like for large scale that still is gonna suck if you're fighting multiple of them. But the whole like can't regen your block thing is just like no. That
I know
needs
what they're
to go.
I know what they're going
I don't-
for, but
I don't agree. I think it's okay. It's just it can't be that long. Because honestly, it's like after 5 seconds you just get it back. It's really not that hard. In most situations, it's like the 15-second one is unrecoverable, but the 5-second ones, it's like, I don't know. It's really not that bad. Like I noticed in my fights, like thinking like, oh dude, I'm gonna try to apply this and make it so they can't recover the block, but no one's playstyle changed at all in 1v1 when they're being hit by this stuff. It's like,
yeah.
weirdly,
I mean, most of the time when you hit me with that, I was already getting chunked, so I have to back off and reset regardless.
yeah, it's like weirdly ineffective at it. Now in large scale, it's a little bit different, but I mean, you're not able to...
We did say last week that we were thinking that this is definitely going to be more useful in large scale.
Yeah, but you can't stay in and sit there and reapply it, which is why I think the 5 seconds is okay, because it's like 5 seconds of like, oh, I'm not getting my block back. But usually in a 5-second engagement, the classes with the block are using their abilities during that time. They're probably not going to recover it anyway. And then when they disengage, they can, because the 5 seconds runs out. So I don't think it's like that big of a deal on the short one. But so Cindy's saying in chat, let them be affected by attack speed. So the whale skills have this tooltip that says, no, not affected by attack speed, movement speed, increase effects. He's saying let them be affected by attack speed. But here's the problem, is that's like a double-edged sword, because we went and tested it the other day. They're also not affected by attack slows. So yeah, it would be nice that they could be sped up with attack speed, but they also, it would suck if they're slowed down by attack slow debuffs, because the skills are already like slow in general. And
Then it's just Succession Nova.
Attack slows are just way, way, way higher than the buffs we're going to be getting outside of like speed spell. So I went and timed it with a, I was able to do, I think it was Shifty. It was either Shifty or Shift C, but the skill animation took 2.9 seconds with no buffs or debuffs on me whatsoever. And then with a full set of 40% attack, cast, and movement speed slows, it also still took 2.9 seconds to cast the same ability. It had no effect on with slows, which is kind of an interesting mechanic. Probably should be put on Chase.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wouldn't be like if Chase was not affected by attack speed buffs or nerfs. It'd actually be kind of interesting.
Well, currently it's just movement speed, but
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah,
slows.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying a general sense.
I just, for the intern listening, I don't want them to get the wrong idea.
Yeah,
you know?
they're like, it's not affected by attack speed slows. They're like, wait, it never was. It's like, so nothing
Yeah,
changed.
yeah.
Thanks, intern.
I got to make sure that it's, they understand fully what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Got to get that down the pipes.
like I said, I'm sure they're going to do a bunch of tweaks. The GLabs changes that currently came this week, I honestly think most of them were already planned before. I don't think a lot of them are based off of feedback, because it came out so soon. I mean, it like came out 2 days after the actual Corsair came out.
Yeah, how could they possibly have feedback that's going to focus on
Right.
specific changes?
So I think when it gets its 3 bombs and it gets its 2 C skills, it'll be better judged. Like that's why right now I can't say like it needs blank for sure because it could be so different. One, I don't know what changes they plan on making to begin with because they always do change a lot of like connection stuff and fix the end of this or whatever, you know, stuff like that. So who knows? And then bombs and C skills could have a major impact. So it's, yeah, I can't say it needs buffs. In PvE, it definitely needs buffs, though. Like, it definitely should be able to at least be average in PvE.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, but that all having been said, so it sucked. Yesterday sucked because we were against Cho Nation. It does not play into caster comp very well at all. It's a miserable experience, as you'd expect. But in the other node wars that we had where it wasn't mass casters, it was actually like pretty fun, at least in smaller node wars. We did 2 30-mans and it was like pretty fun in node war. You definitely have to play around your team, but you do feel like you're helping your team a little bit, especially with just straight up like raw damage throwing stuff. Like if you hit someone with like a whale ability, you pop up even without the CC, you hit them with a whale ability, even though you might not secure the kill, you do feel at least like the people around you are getting off extra damage that maybe they weren't going to be able to if you weren't there, which is kind of an interesting. It's hard to it's hard to be satisfied by that. You know, most people want to see their kills, but there is an element of that. Plus it does have good like nuke skills where you dive in and nuke, like shift Q and forward R&B when you just land on top of someone. I actually stopped, as cool as I just told you, Reslar, that the shift Q and the forward R&B is. I stopped canceling it for the most part because I want to let shift Q do its damage and then also have forward R&B do its damage because shift Q hits pretty hard on the landing.
It kind of sounds to me like if you have bad ping, this class is really good because you don't have to focus on kills. You can just do a lot of bruiser related activities to help out your team. Is that kind of what we're going with here?
Yeah, a little bit. I could see. I don't know with the ping stuff. I mean, I feel like the bad ping could also be a nightmare since it's mostly super armor, and you know how you can just get rubber banded. But
I could see that.
I don't know. But as far as like the mobility and the protection, it's funny because I remember like watching Armin's stream. It's like, dude, that class is always protected, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, like every class could just be always protected, but like if you decide to just do always protected, like now that you saw like with what the catches are, like you're not really catching anybody with it.
No.
And they can just choose to avoid your damage if they want to.
Yeah.
The only ones that are kind of hard to avoid are shift Q and forward R&B.
You basically have only like one real like significant slow, so even the damage pressure wasn't really like that bad. Mind you, you do have a lot more gear than me, so trading into you with my gear obviously isn't as favorable as maybe some other matchups, but you know, as long as I avoid some of your bigger spells, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Definitely manageable.
I don't know. It's a fun class though. I'm really excited. I have no idea what Awakening is going to be, but so far, like the foundation of this class, I'm way more excited about it than I was for Nova and Sage when they came out. Because it's like, even though it is a little bit of a slower class, it's more like Awakened Mystic slow, not like Wizard, Sage, pre-Awakened Nova slow. So it's like, it still feels like fast. It isn't like, you know, Ninja Kuno Nova, Awakened Nova. It's so funny because it's like Nova is the comp. When I compare it to pre-Awakened Nova, I'm like, yeah, it's not that slow. But then I compare it to Awakened Nova, but it's not that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle. I don't know. That's about all I got. I hopefully they don't wait too long to give us at least the bombs. I know we won't get the C skills until Awakening is out. That seems to be how they do it, but hopefully we get the bombs, at least a couple of them pretty soon. Want to see what they change with the class for that aspect. Are there any major concerns? I mean, you're concerned about the block stuff. Rez, do you see this class becoming meta?
Like, what do you mean by meta? Like, what's your definition of like quote becoming meta?
Like a lot of people are using it and guilds are recruiting them.
No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be another like mid-tier class. Like, it's not gonna be like bottom tier where it's like you got to be 100 extra gear score to join our guild sort of thing. But it's just gonna be a mid-tier class, I think, most likely. I mean, obviously that could change with the awakening, but just from what I've seen from the succession.
Yeah, from the succession alone, I agree with Resler. It's not really anything impressive. It's not going to make or break a comp, and it's not exactly a class that seems to get a lot of kills, so it's not like super beneficial from a flex point of view.
And I don't mean to say that disparagingly, by the way. Like, that's a good thing. Like, we should have like mid-tier classes.
Mhm.
Like, having classes on the extremes is not good. You shouldn't have a class where it's like, you know, when Suck Sage came out and people were like, everyone was playing Suck Sage, or you have a class like fucking, I don't know, like Hash, when Hash came out and like nobody was playing Hash until like they got a lot of like buffs and changes and fixes and stuff. So like having a class be in the middle is like that's where
Kind
you
of
want it to
refreshing.
be. Yeah, that's where you want it to be, is in the middle. So like that's a good thing that it's not gonna be quote like meta, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I just hope.
I am tired of. I'm on the same boat with that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. I'm just hoping it ends up around where like Awaken Hash is. I think where Awaken Hash is kind of nice. Like a nice little sweet spot where it's like you can be effective in war if you want, and it plays that class has to play more around its team than other classes. Like Suck Hash is just a solo dive bomber, but Awaken Hash is more like team oriented, and it's actually like better than people think. It's just that it's hard to top frag on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice, like I said, refreshing to not have a new class come out and it's instantly just better than mine for once. So
yeah, dude, I don't know. It's funny because I mean, kind of the same thing happened when everyone was reading the skills. People were like, dude, this class is going to be
fucking
so
nuts.
meta. Now, it still could be, right? Because like Sage didn't feel very good also that first day.
Yeah.
But I just
give
feel
it
like
time.
the difference is this one isn't going to be in super armor the entire time, which means it's going to take damage, which means it's going to be killable in group fights. And it's also not it feels like Ninja Kuno as far as like tankiness. Dude, I was fighting an evasion Corsair. Dude, the class is not tanky. It is just not tanky. Also, I think the way the damage is set up, unlike Striker Mystic, which kind of do an insane amount of damage at low gear, I don't like, dude, you can't drop to 281 Kudum on this class and still kill people. Like, it just doesn't do that kind of damage. I know, like on I keep seeing like, oh, it's insane on seasonal. It's killing a bunch of seasonal characters, but at higher gear, it's just not like that at all. At 281, it just doesn't. It's like difficult to one combo people with good gear at like those levels.
Yeah.
I can't speak to Sustainia. Someone's pointing out her MP regen is pretty bad, at least at polyspots. I'm spoiled by the infinite pot that just keeps me at 100%.
It's hard for Frosty to be understanding what us, poor peasants with our normal pots are suffering with.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a miserable experience for all of you.
It is. I just ran out of WP in a fight versus a ninja earlier.
Oh no.
And it's because I had no pots.
That's the worst. Dude, the one thing I do hate about the 50% grapple res on the mermaid skills is every time I get grabbed, someone spams LOL nice grapple res. And I have to see that constantly.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a thing.
Yeah. Like, it is nice. Dude, here's how the grapple res works. This is like, honestly, this is how it works. If you're against the mermaid, you feel like everything you're doing is getting resisted. All the grapples are getting resisted. If you are the mermaid, you feel like the grapple res hasn't worked a single time ever in your life. It's yeah. All right. I did struggle, Chasm, to get my infinite pot. Okay, the gathering part took me like 102 hours. I did not struggle to get my HP pot, but the MP pot in total was like 174 hours or something like that. I got lucky at Sheer Ruins, but then Mansions was like 72 hours, and then what's it called? The Gathering one was like 102 hours, which was awful.
The Gathering one?
Yeah, dude, the Gathering MP pot. Look, now she doesn't even know there is a Gathering part.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit, that's right there. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, I do. No, I haven't started it yet, so I forget that there's that part. I'm still trying to get the damn fucking basic pieces for HP pot, man. Like I got other problems.
Yeah. Dude,
Which,
so overall,
since I'm awake in Mayo, I probably should get the WP pot first.
I think the class is pretty fun. I don't know if we should do one of these bets again, but I'm gonna stick to I'm gonna stick to it at least until after Awakening is out. Now
that's it, 2 weeks, 2 weeks in 1 day.
Yeah, if it still feels exactly the same as today, I probably won't play it for long. I'd rather play Kuno. But if it's like, if it starts feeling a little bit better in group PvP and specifically in 1v1s, then I definitely will play the hell out of this, because the style and the movement and the animations and the way the skills feel all is really, really fun.
They'd have to like significantly change some skills to make it like from how it currently functions to be like really viable in 1v1, I feel.
Maybe. I think if they did minor little speed ups here and there, minor like connection abilities between skills, like maybe like you could throw out the CC of a skill instantly after using something else before it, you know, like stuff like that. That kind of makes skills like flow together better. I think that stuff plus the rebombs and the C skills could be enough to make it pretty good in 1v1, to be honest.
I do love that one where you throw the bubble out and you slice the bubble on top of the target.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
They have that skill twice. They have two versions of that skill, and they both are
down R&B as well.
No, down R&B is the slash, is just like the uppercut slash thing.
But if you hold down R&B, it throws out a bubble.
Yeah, R&B, the flow, Tides Kiss. You could just hotbar it too, which is nice. That one is not protected, unfortunately. I kind of wish it was. But Shift R&B, dude, the Prime one is like a big ass bubble, dude. It looks so cool.
Dude, what the hell is up with the spirit perfume market? It is just gone.
Yeah, it comes and goes. If Gathering isn't good, people aren't gonna make those. the spirit perfume market's about to get worse too, because I think you need to tree chop in like Ash Forest to make those.
Really? Oh no, that's not good. I have to hop off Awakening for fucking grinding because I'm not gonna have spirit perfume. Feels bad.
Go get your pot, dude.
Or worse, I have to change an add-on so I get WP during my New Year's Eve spam.
Hey, they're actually not that bad. Honestly.
What, the add-ons?
Yeah.
Meh, they're okay. The limiter is nature fruit. Give me those and I'll provide you spirits. Alright, done deal. I got you location.
Fruit of nature, isn't that from farming, I think?
You can get it from farming too, yeah.
Yeah, rough.
There, we just need more farmers.
Yeah, right. Are we ready to move into global labs now?
Yeah, is there anything else about Corsair? Well, I wanted to ask you guys, like, now that you've seen the kit and played with the kit and seen her style and theme, is there anything about it that makes you feel strongly towards what the Awakening might end up being?
Honestly, after what they did with Nova, anything's possible. So it's I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Some people suggest that they've seen evidence of a crossbow type thing. So she might have range combat. I don't. There's like no definitive proof that that's actually true. So I guess we're gonna have to wait a couple weeks before we get a hint. Someone
Yeah.
always leaks something.
Also,
So.
it is melee damage, and it's melee damage and
Yeah.
uses attack speed, which I think is kind of
Yeah.
interesting considering it's like this magic Serenica and a magic pouch that gives her water abilities. But
Yeah.
um,
Well, I mean, there's some weirder examples, like like Valkyrie's cast speed, but it's melee. It's like what?
yeah,
But
Yeah,
it's primarily like spells it's using. It seems like so it's just weird.
I still feel like it could be pretty much anything. I don't think it's really like narrowed down at all from like what we talked about. I mean, it could be a trident, but I just don't think
Yeah,
that
someone
it's gonna
else in
be.
chat is saying it's a trident. But
yeah. They just
Everyone thinks it's gonna be a trident, and that's kind of why I feel like it's not going to be, because that seems like the obvious thing to do. But who knows? Maybe it will be. I don't know.
someone's also saying it's gonna be with tentacles. Like what kind of weird?
dude, that the thing is with the trident is like they don't stick to the same exact theme. Like they don't not with any of the classes. Like I
No,
mean,
they
like
haven't
some of
been.
them are kind of like even like Striker Mystic, where it's still like you're fighting and stuff, but like one of them went fire, one of them went water. They usually like 180. I don't know. So like
Yeah.
the thing is the mermaid is part of this kit and it's very succession based because the mermaid prime skills and stuff. But like I just can't see them sticking with the mermaid theme because it's the Serenica and the offhand that gives her the power to become a mermaid. So unless her awakening is still using the pouch, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that it would be
Maybe she turns into a siren instead. Like the darker version of a mermaid, basically.
I mean, that's certainly possible. Oh, that was the other thing I did want to talk about is the heal, which I don't think it's intended, and I actually think it's going to get changed eventually. The heal, so when it passes through everyone, it gives them 700 max HP and a 200 damage or a 200 HP heal every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, right? Which is a modest amount of healing. It like might extend a fight, plus the max HP is really nice. But what actually happens when you ult and pass through people is it completely fully heals everybody it touches. It basically, as you pass through them, they like instant tick like 4,000 HP back. And if you double back, if they get hit again, they instant tick 4,000 HP again, as well as get the 700 max HP and 200 HP over time buff.
I think that's bugged.
Yeah,
doesn't seem right.
That seems like it was a mistake on someone's part.
Yeah, it's like kind of wild. Hold on, I have a clip of it that's just it seems it's so nuts that I'm like this can't be real.
Sage was Greek, so he got a lightning spear. He's not Greek.
He might be Greek, dude.
He's not Greek. He's part of ancient civilization, and they never once clarified him being Greek.
Yeah. I don't know. There is something to be said though about the fact that they're coming out with more characters. The characters are like lore heavy. So you have Nova, which is like an actual character in the world, Francesca, whatever the fuck her name is. And then you have Sage, who like maybe isn't like a defined character like Francesca, whatever the fuck her name is, but what he does have is a defined weapon. Like the Spear of Cabilius was in the game long before it became the Sage's weapon, right? So
Matter of
like,
fact, I think I still have that in my inventory.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll like go in that direction. I don't know.
I think ever since Shadow Arena came out and they split it off to its standalone and they gave them all like their individual characters, that's when they started doing that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Because like each one of the versions of the character's kit has its own like specific unique character, and they're like characters in the game supposedly.
I put in
the lore at least
the group chat the heal. that I tested so you could see. So Amritat in that clip, if you look at the one called AoE healing, Amritat's health pool is 7,000. So he gets half his health bar back, or a little more than half back when I pass through him. And if I were to have turned around and passed through him again, it would put him all the way to max. And I don't know if that's intended because it does not say anywhere on the thing that it's supposed to heal. I was talking with Multi about it yesterday, and his theory is that, I guess kind of like Shy, when you get the max HP buff, it also, you just get that HP, so that it's like literally just constantly reticking the max HP buff and healing you. Which definitely sounds like BDO code.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah. Anyway, we on to Global Labs. Just wanted to talk about that heal real quick. All right, Global Labs, here we come.
Sorry, I was watching the clip.
It's
that
nuts,
clip is
right?
insane.
It's like literally Rabam heal.
Hey, that has to be a bug, though, dude.
It has
There's
to
no
be.
way.
There's
no way.
Yeah, it should not heal that much. That's way too much. And you're iframe during that too, right?
No.
Oh, it's super armor?
Yeah, I think it's super armor. To go relook at the clip, but I'm pretty sure it's super armor. Oh, I think maybe Black Desert Foundry's down, so I can't open up this.
No, I have it up.
Oh, is it just my internet?
You want me to send you the link?
No, I have the link. It's just not opening. Chrome's...
Here,
wait, let me try this.
Oh wait, maybe it is down.
Oh, okay. It's laggy. It still feels more fair than Witch Wiz. Yeah, I mean, honestly, true, because at least with the Witch Wiz one, you can use it instantly. This one, you have to like turn into the mermaid,
you have to go
aim,
through
and
people.
swim through people, and timing it is actually really hard in war. Not
She'll use an anchor and go full Tide Hunter mode, dude. I wish.
Dude, I would love that actually.
Dude, what if the Awakening was all like, so if this is all like mermaid and like flashy skills and stuff, the Awakening was like the ocean, but like the depths of it. So it just
Kinda
like everything is all like dark.
Pike from League.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Pike.
So instead of being like crashing waves of like the surface and like, you know, shit like that, it's like the depths of the ocean type of shit, you know?
Yeah. I could see that. That'd be pretty
That
dope.
could be pretty fun. I don't think they'll do that. I mean, maybe, but that'd be pretty fun.
Like she spawns sea anemones. Dude, I keep saying if they made her like what Alawi's like alt looks like. Oh my god, dude.
Well, that's what someone was saying earlier. Tentacles. So 8 tentacles slapping down on an area.
Dude, there's little hints of octopus arms in a bunch of her skills in the Prime version. Shift L and B, you can see like they're like the shape of arms, and they even have the little like outline of suction cups. Same thing with Q.
Yeah.
And the Shift C when she pops out. Like there's a lot of little things that are like octopus arms. But it may not, carry over, but still. I think that would be awesome. Alawi's busted, by the way. I hate playing.
Alawi is busted. Holy shit.
All right, so let's talk let's just talk about the movement thing first, and then we'll talk about the Caphras thing, because the movement thing is like the first thing that they address here in the notes. So here's what they say. So they say, hello, this is Black Desert Studio. Today I would like to talk about the basic movement and manipulation of characters, especially those released after Archer. From the time of creating Archer, when creating the basic movement action, we added a new dedication action to create a more natural look, and this movement has been reflected in this Corsair following Archer, Guardian, Nova, and Sage. There are many opinions that it's frustrating because there was a difference in the feeling of operation compared to existing characters. Here, after the announcement of the character reboot, concerns were heard that the existing characters would also change to be like this. To be precise, there are no plans to change the basic movement controls of existing characters. In addition, in the case of Archer, Guardian, Nova, Sage, Corsair, Archer, Guardian, Goddess. What is Goddess?
Oh, leak new class.
Elite new class. Archer, Guardian, Goddess, Nova, Sage, and Corsair. We will improve the basic movement. Hash. Okay. Hash. We will improve the basic movement and operations so that it will not feel the same as it is now, but it will be improved in a form that can give a feeling as much as possible to the existing characters. We're preparing to update this patch to the Black Desert Lab at the earliest on July 22nd, so it's not too far off. Yeah, so basically on GLabs July 22nd or somewhere thereafter, they're going to remove that feeling of where you're walking and when you stop walking, you still take like 3 extra steps for no reason. Thank God. That heavy feeling that a lot of people complain about, they're actually getting rid of that.
Yeah, which is good because, yeah, that's been a serious problem for quite a while now. A lot of people say that they can't even play like any of the new classes because of that like mechanic is just so infuriating. So,
yep. Also, it's kind of a little hidden buff to life skillers, you know? Adjusting yourself in front of the cooking utensil is going to be faster. Adjusting yourself to line up with a tree is going to be faster. It's good, dude.
I think more importantly than anything is the fact that like, because like the whole thing started because people were like, oh fuck, the class reworks, all the old classes are gonna get that fucking movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, thank God for that, because if they would have given all the old classes that movement, holy hell.
It'd have been awful.
Yeah, if they didn't get enough feedback about that now, they would have been bombarded with it the first day all that stuff comes out. It would have been insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for milking cows as well. Also for Hadoom grinding, man. Like, you literally get screwed trying to take off the weapon because your character's still moving for like a few extra seconds, and then it gives the mobs just enough time to catch up to you and hit you.
I don't think that's a movement problem. I think that's a Hadoom weapon problem, because even on Zerker, I'll be standing completely still doing nothing, and it still
like
won't
a few
let me
seconds.
swap.
It happens to me too.
But it still extends
it's worse.
the time. Yeah, it's worse. It extends the time. It's awful. I like have to go back to where I parked my horse to swap weapons.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So the other major change on GLabs is the Caphras Stone thing. So they put a note on KR a week ago kind of talking about this and how they apologize for not addressing it sooner and all this stuff. But basically, here's their note. They say the drop of each hunting ground has been increased so that Caphras Stones can be supplied more smoothly, or rather easier than now. The number of hunting grounds where Caphras Stones and Ancient Spirit Powder are already dropped has been increased, and Kratuga, Akhman, and Hystria, which did not appear at all, have been added to the drop list. However, the amount that can be obtained is based on the Valley of Elune, which is currently set to the highest. Other areas have been adjusted so it doesn't reach this height, except the Tomb of Sleeping Thoughts, which is the crazy crypt place. At the same time, in the case of daily quest rewards that can be carried out in all hunting grounds, we've improved the supply to be a little bit easier by increasing the previously insignificant number. If you hunt hard, even at the beginning of Valencia, the growth section, you can get 5 to 10 Caphras Stones based on 1 hour of grinding. In addition, in this hunting ground adjustment, we did not include Elvia area because we're considering additional use of elemental weapons that are currently only available in the Elvia area. If they need to add it later, they will. So as far as like the grind spots, they went through. So first of all, actually, let's just talk about the daily rewards. So some of the daily rewards at like, for example, the like Gahas, like if you went and did the daily at Gahas, you got like 1 Caphras Stone, or not even, like a dust or 2 dust, and now it's going to give you like multiple. For the example of like Turos. The Turos grinding spot. Hold on, let me find it on the list here. At the Turos grinding spot, when you where's Turos? Here it is. At the Turos grinding spot before, you would get 8 total Caphras Stones, including like the dust. If you combine the dust, count 5 dusts as 1 Caphras Stone. You would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total Caphras Stones for finishing the 4 daily. Or sorry, 7 7 total Caphras stones for finishing the dailies there, and now you're gonna get like 16. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so you're gonna get 16 instead of 7, which is a pretty big jump. At Secrea, you're gonna be getting 10, I believe, instead of, I think it gives like 3. It's like nothing. Let's see. Right now it gives 2. It gives 2 Caphras stones and 2 ancient spirit powder currently.
Yikes.
And in the future patch, it's just going to give enough dust worth of equal to 10 Caphras stones. They're also changing the daily at RBF. It's going to be 100 ancient spirit powder for winning an RBF every day instead of 50, which is going to be pretty nice. And then, yeah, they said they're increasing the amount everywhere, and it's like kind of a big amount that they changed it. So recently that guy Jang, who he likes to test stuff on GLabs, put up a video of him grinding some of the areas after the change, and it's pretty significant. So he goes to Star's End first, which right now Star's End drops like on average maybe 5 Caphras stones worth of dust, depending on your RNG. You could maybe get one more, maybe one less, just depends on your RNG. So he went and did 15 minutes at all these spots just to see how many Caphras stones he got. His Star's End one was, after 15 minutes, he got 3 raw Caphras stones, which don't even currently drop right now at all, and 6 dust. So essentially 4 Caphras stones, which would equal, after an hour, he would basically get whatever. He said 24 dust after an hour and 12 raw Caphras stones, which is actually nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
In an hour is actually like crazy. That's so much more at Star's End. He didn't do Secrea, but he did do Thornwood. Thornwood really, unless you're getting the event a lot, unless you get RNG carried on the event, Thornwood doesn't really give you that many Caphras stones. The daily gives a decent amount, but the actual just raw grinding in the spot doesn't give you that many. Let me see what his numbers were here. So here he got 2 Caphras stones in his 15 minutes and 5 dust. So it would be 8 raw Caphras and 4 made from dust after an hour. The one that kind of blew my mind is Hystria, because right now Hystria and Ackman and Kratuga don't drop Caphras stones at all. Prior to us getting the Caphras stone update a few years ago, when we first got them added to our server, they actually did drop in Hystria and Ackman, but it was like 3 per hour. They would only get like a little bit, kind of like most of the other Valencia spots. And then they nerfed it and removed it. He gets, in this 15 minutes, he gets 0 dust, which is kind of weird, but he gets 5 raw Caphras stones in 15 minutes. So over the course of an hour at Hystria, it would be 20 Caphras stones. Now, again, this could vary. He might have gotten RNG carried. 15 minutes isn't like definitive. But I could tell you right now, there's never been 15 minutes at Star's End where you get 3 Caphras stones worth of dust, like in just 15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So
you'd be lucky if you got 50 spirit dust an hour.
Yeah, and his 15 minutes at Hystria, obviously he doesn't really grind Hystria. Obviously someone said don't show me those clips with the damage numbers, please, because on GLabs they have the damage numbers. He's not even like efficient here. He got, like, in his 15 minutes he got 1100 trash loot at Hystria, and you can get a lot more than that. Like, people pull like 5.5 6k in an hour.
Yeah,
so he was only getting about 4.4, maybe 4.5 in how fast he was grinding it. So yeah, you're going to be getting a lot more Caphras stones basically at every grind spot. I'm assuming Turos is going to be nuts because it already gives like 25 an hour. I am assuming Manchum's is probably going to be pretty nuts because it also gives like, I don't know, 10 to 15 if you're super RNG carried, and a Musa maybe up to 20. So I don't know, Caphras stones are going to be a lot easier to get. And Nayash, you wanted to talk about this because the market implications, which I also think is super interesting, or at least the way like players are going to be able to catch up. So
yeah.
What are your thoughts on like how this affects the game in general, both for veterans and new players?
I honestly, I think this is going to be a very good change for a lot of newer players trying to get caught up in gear score and whatnot. But even for veterans that have just like the long haul of endless Caphras that need to be grinded out. I'm just getting into that grind myself, trying to see 9 armors, and I'm already looking at this like, oh, that's billions saved. Just because like the market is going to, ultimately crash on Caphras. Like it's no longer going to be around 2.7, 2.8 that it's been averaging. Like hell, even today I noticed it drops. It's 2.4 mil Caphras, which not really sure why it dropped already, but probably because people see this and they are selling other Caphras at a high value and basically trying to reap some profit off that exchange and buy them when they get low again from when this change is implemented. But yeah, it's going to have a lot of positive effects for newer players and veterans trying to gear up. It will have some negative aspects to life skillers. There's a lot of different, discussions on how much that's going to impact life skillers. Some are saying specifically wood choppers, I believe, loggers. Some say that it won't really affect other types of life skilling, but there's some contradictory feedback from other players on that too. Some are saying it'll like roughly 15-20% of a life skiller's economy is coming from Caphras, so that's going to actually hurt them a decent amount over time. But yeah, it's an exciting change. Like I think overall it's good for the game. For people wanting to get caught up to what the current soft cap is and whatnot. It'll also eventually increase the soft cap, I think, as well. Right now, I think you can say realistically 670, 660, 670 is probably large scale soft cap, right? Wouldn't you say, Frosty? Most skills are recruiting around that kind of thing.
Yeah, most at like T2 high end or siege, yeah, most people are recruiting like at minimum like 650 plus.
Yeah. So 660, 670 is kind of maybe a little bit on the higher end then, but pretty much around the soft cap. So that's definitely going to go up as well as more and more people have access to the Caphras.
Dude, actually, everyone in chat is literally just typing Caphras with a K.
This is really why you wanted me to talk about the topic,
like,
isn't it?
Someone said I want to eat Caphras. People are saying Caphras pog. Someone says gotta get those Caphras with a K.
I like how you say everyone in chat when you've typed it now 3 times in our group chat.
Yeah.
As Nayashi's talking.
I see it now, yeah.
Oh, dude. Any Caphras in chat? Dude. Well, all right, here are some of the things that I was thinking about. So in their note, they mentioned a little bit later on in the note, they mentioned that
you've literally been waiting for this kind of patch to come out. I know it. You've been waiting for this.
Oh no. Hold on. Jax just sent this. This is good. In their note, they mentioned that they tried to adjust it, but the problem is that they said that they thought this is funny to think about, but they thought that the Fallen God armor would help with the situation, but when Fallen God came out, it only increased the demand for Caphras, not decreased. So now they're finally addressing it or whatever. But here's the thing that I think is really interesting about it is, one, it kind of does affect a lot of things. So life skilling, I think it's unfortunate for life skillers because while for some of the gathering, it doesn't affect it as much, like butchering, you just don't get as many Caphras stones or dust butchering like you do for tree chopping, but it definitely negatively affects tree chopping because the value of Caphras stones is going to drop. But for everything else, it's like, yeah, but your life skill profits compared to grinding are already lower, and now they're just going to be lower still because we're not getting Caphras stones but swapping out like trash loot or rare drops or anything else. Like they're just adding it. So grinding is just going to be better. Even with the negative, even with the price dropping, I think that the Caphras stones are still going to be like add extra value to grind spots. So there's that. So I mean, that's just a little side note. I hope that they eventually do something with life skilling to make it more enticing, just kind of across the board. Mastery was like a good first step, but then it feels like they didn't really go anywhere after that. But the thing that
Shira points out, cheering for masses was removed, but cheering for hards and sharps is still in the game.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
which is weird because on KR they removed it for digging and water gathering, but nothing else. But they should probably just remove cheering for hards and sharps in general because it's it's nerfing life skillers.
It's more or less a common item at this point. Like, it shouldn't be cheerable. It's just like mass.
But I don't know. It's like, okay, so at the high end, you're gonna be able to get C20 basically for everyone a lot easier, which also, unfortunately, Reslar, doesn't bode well for your Black Star choice. Yeah, the drops are enabled, by the way, for all regions associated with Pearl Abyss. So yeah, it doesn't bode well for your Black Star thing. It's gonna be a lot easier to get C20, but I also think for newer players playing the game, it's gonna make it easier for them to gear up down the road. At first, it'll only be easier because now everywhere they grind, they're gonna get Caphras Stones, which Caphras Stones at the low end like really help, especially in that one patch that made it cheaper to go up to C4.
Yeah,
because it basically costs nothing to get C4 and then take it out and use them for other stuff later when you get pen items on Tets. Like getting C4 on Tets is free. But it's gonna be easier for them to get Caphras Stones, save up Caphras Stones, but also like when they do finally get pen items, like you can eke out a lot of stats without having pen accessories with Caphras Stones. Like if you're full Tet, if you have like full Tet accessories and pen armors and pen weapons, like you can just Caphras the hell out of your stuff and get really, really, really high gear.
yeah. I mean, your gear score is going to get super inflated by Caphras Stones. So
yeah, so it's I don't know, it's crazy.
A positive thing overall for the health of the game. Like, they're introducing more and more content that's going to be requiring higher gear score. Like, didn't they say one of the new Hadoom regions, or was it just a new thing in general that was going to be like 290 AP requirement?
That was Hadoom.
Was it Hadoom? Okay, so yeah, one of the new Hadoom spots is going to be like 290 AP. Like, you're obviously going to need a shitload of DP for that zone. So it's good that they're doing this change anyways.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But I think honestly it's going to make catching up a lot easier down the road. Everyone's going to be C20. People are already working towards it, and it takes forever to get there. I think 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, when a newer player comes into the game, when they do finally get their pen armors, I think the road to C20 is going to be way easier. I also think like the price, I mean, one of the main questions like, well, what is the price of Caphras going to be once you have once this is in the game? Is it going to tank to like 1.5 mil? But I honestly think
I don't think so. I think it'll stabilize around 2.
Yeah, it's going to be dictated by the price of pen armors on your particular server. If eventually Caphras Stones drop low enough that it's cheaper to break through from Tet to pen with Caphras Stones, then either the pen armors are going to drop in price or the Caphras Stones are going to stabilize because that's people are going to buy those instead of trying to enhance or trying to buy the actual armor with raw silver.
How much right now does it cost to do a breakthrough with Caphras?
Well, most armors are somewhere around like 5,500. I'm just giving a rough estimate, but like 50 or no, sorry, not 5,500. I think it's like 9. Let me pull up video code. I just looked.
I was gonna say 5,500 is not.
I think
much
it's like
at
9.
all.
I think it's like 9,000. It's like 9,500, somewhere around there to like break through an armor, from Tet to pen. You know, I'll just do like a helmet as an example. So if I have a Gaiath helmet at Tet. Oh my god, every website is just really slow today. If I have a Gaiath at Tet, to get it to C20 costs 9,729 Caphras stones. So, I mean, if you multiply that by 3, right, it's going to cost you like 30 bill to break through. But if Caphras stones drop to 2 mil, you multiply it by 2, then you're looking only at like 19 bill to break through. If it drops down to like 1.7 or 1.6, then you're looking at like 14, 15 bill, which in some cases
that's competitive.
Yeah.
With
So
purchasing.
I think it won't go below what it costs to actually buy a pen armor. I think that's how it's going to be dictated, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If it did, yeah, people would just mass order up Caphras.
Panda said you can use your sponsors garmont.com to find out the total using the Caphras calculator.
True.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of a good thing, to be honest. Like they said that they're looking for other ways, like with the Zarka weekly thing and the journals and just normal like gear enhancements and stuff, that they're always trying to find other ways to upgrade your stuff without Caphras stones. I almost feel like at this point they regret putting Caphras stones into the game, but I honestly think for the players,
Dead God's not going to use it. So like, what's going to happen once they release all the Dead God pieces? Like, the Caphras market is just going to literally not make sense anymore, right?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, I don't know. It depends what the requirement is, right? Because when Fallen God came out in the chest, like the demand, like Caphras became sold out. It was like the opposite effect happened.
Well, yeah, because everyone needed to hit C10 on their chest piece in order to get one, right?
Which you'll probably need on your helmet
initially, you will more than likely need to get your other pieces to C10, right? But once the game's out long enough with those Dead God pieces, the Caphras market will like not be as focused on.
In theory, yeah. But I mean, right now we have just the chest, and it's been a year, and like the Caphras market actually was going up until they gave us a bunch of free Caphras stones and made this announcement, and then they tanked. Like it was trending, so it like tanked or whatever. Every time they do an event like and give away a bunch of Caphras stones, it goes down, and then it's like slowly going up. And people were like getting worried. I mean, literally just 2 weeks ago, people were like, dude, what is happening in the Caphras market? It's like 3 mil in NA, and there's only like 5,000 left. And then Hideout Ball happened, and now it's like there's a shitload. And then this announcement that Caphras are going to drop, and people are like, I better sell them. There's a lot of people in this Caphras list right now that are like, I better sell these because they're not going to be worth anything in the future. So if I'm going to sell them, I better sell them now.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, I don't know, I wouldn't underestimate the amount of new players that probably don't have a C10 Griffin or Gaiath, and the amount of evasion players that are probably going to want a Fallen God helmet that are instead going to have to Caphras up a Gaiath or a Griffin. And on top of that, Fallen God, every enhancement attempt requires 10 Caphras stones as well. On Pride, Duo, and Try, and some people go all the way to Tet. So I don't know, like, I think when it comes out, I mean, I think Caphras stones will always be in demand. But for me personally, even though I do think Pearl Abyss maybe regrets Caphras stones, I think it's I still think it's a cool way to gear up because of the fact that
it is a way to show constant progression.
Yeah, it's like the only thing that gives you a break from RNG in this game is like I can literally just start leveling up my shit without risking it downgrading or me losing a bunch of money and not getting anything. And there's kind of like a lot of, because it progresses so high, there's a lot of levels. Like a Pen Dandy can literally give you, I mean, it gives you 10 AP at C20.
Yeah.
Like that's so, and 12 accuracy. It's so much extra stats. The other thing too is like, I was thinking about this with Pen Blackstar. It's going to be hard to justify buying or even enhancing a Pen Blackstar if you're going to be able to C20 a Dandy for only like 50 bill. Like if it's like half the price of a Pen Blackstar, I don't know how you justify buying a Pen
how would it be
Blackstar.
only 50 bill? Like how many Caphras do you need total?
So right now a Zarka costs about 70 bill, including the cost of the Zarka to Caphras it up to C20. So if they drop down to like 1.9 or whatever. I mean, just depends here. Let me find out, get the exact number on like a Zark. I'll just use Zark as an example. Dandy does require more Caphras stones, and
Make sure to use our sponsor, grandma.com.
I'm gonna not use the sponsor this time.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with BDO Codex. All right, so right now a Pen Zarka costs what, 12 bill to buy, and then it requires 29,400 Caphras stones. Let's say you get all of those for 2.7 bill, probably even less, because a lot of them you're just grinding yourself, right? Like a lot over the course of you putting in C20, you're probably grinding a lot yourself.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm slow at math. Yeah, so it would be like 91 bill if it's 2.7 mil for the cost of the Zarka plus all 30,000 Caphras stones.
Yeah, that makes more sense. You said 70. I was like, what?
But
I mean, maybe in the future, yes.
Yeah, but when it drops down to 2 mil, it's like, I mean, you're already, the other thing too is like you're already like Caphras. I mean, everyone has a Zarka that's like already C5 or C7 or C9. Like just starting point, because that's where you kind of get just to PvP long before you're thinking about a Pen Black Star. Yeah. So it's like to go from there to the next spot, it's like really not that expensive. And if it drops down to 2 mil each, I mean, you're looking at, the whole thing would literally be like 70 bill. If it drops below 2 mil each, it's going to be even cheaper, like ridiculously cheaper. So I don't know. I think it makes it a lot more difficult to justify a Pen Black Star. I guess with the Awakening, it's not as much because Awakening does require a lot more Caphras stones. Let's see if that one requires 29,400. What is Awakening? Let's see. Try not to do math when I'm streaming or when I'm doing the podcast. Yeah, it requires 33,700.
Yeah, that's a lot more.
But the thing is you're going to be getting, like, you're not paying for all of them. Like, you get a bunch as reward. Like, over the last, like, all right, so I don't buy Caphras stones at all. And I just, like, put a bunch of Caphras stones into my armors and started at 0 again. I got C20 the day after I got Pen Black Star, which was now, what, 3 weeks ago?
And you recycled the ones from your original weapon.
And so I ended up with like 0 Caphras stones, and like I haven't done anything to get Caphras stones. Like I'm not buying Caphras stones, and I already have almost 1,000. Actually, I have more than 1,000. I'm like 1.5k Caphras stones after 3 weeks of not buying a single Caphras stone. Like just from random events, Black Spirit board game, the daily at RBF. From now, grinding is going to be even easier. So it's going to be cheaper than that because you're not really buying them. You're not really going to be spending as much money. So I don't know. I think it's actually going to be tough to justify paying 100 bill for, at least for the main hand on a Black Star, if it's fairly cheap to just Caphras up your main hand and get the full C20.
The only other argument is just the PvE damage.
Yeah, the PvE is... Which, you know, it is good. I thought it was going to make Kuno feel like Striker, but it didn't.
No.
Just too bad.
Sorry.
It's just too bad.
Like, maybe a 261 AP Striker. I think you're pretty close.
Rez, how do you feel about the Caphras stones? I mean, in general, just as a thing to use for upgrading. Do you like Caphras stones in this game, or do you not like it?
I mean, he has Black Star armor. I guess that kind of answers all right.
I don't know. I think they're a good thing. I'm not really a huge fan of like the RNG enhancement thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At the very least, there should always be like, I'm a hard believer in like everything should have a mercy mechanic, because sometimes, and I'm not saying me, because I legitimately like, I don't know if there's a lot of like, I've heard horror stories for people that have gotten fucked a lot worse than I ever have in this game in terms of like RNG.
Yeah.
So I'm not even like really speaking for myself here. I'm just saying like people get fucked by RNG sometimes. So like there should always be a mercy mechanic, which is why I'm annoyed like a motherfucker that there's no mercy mechanic for like treasure pieces, that they said specifically that they will never add in mercy mechanics for like treasure pieces. Like that's just I don't know. I really don't like that. That's such like core shit to me. But so yeah, I like Caphras that it's like linear upgrades, you know? It's like, okay, I need 3,000, you know, Caphras or whatever to get to like this certain point that I want to get to, and then you can slowly like see that number building up, and it's satisfying through and through, right? It's satisfying to watch the number go up, it's satisfying to finally get the number that you need, and it's satisfying to finally see the rewards of all the time you spent. What's not satisfying is like working, spending all this time, money, effort, energy, whatever, and then nothing happens. You know, it's just awful.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of Caphras. In terms of like what it means for like the health of the game, because I know a lot of people look at it from like that point of view. Uh, I don't know. Like I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Does Caphras really like ruin the health of like in game like that much more than just like whatever?
I don't think it's really that. It's not that Caphras, you know, the current situation with Caphras is like ruining the state of the game. But like regions like KR, for example, this is a huge quality of life change for them because they like had a struggle with getting these items. And then apparently my cat's destroying something. And then you also have the fact that like it is a long grind.
Nash has a pet monkey with symbols, dude. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's so sick.
A pet monkey with symbols.
Yeah, dude.
What was my train of thought?
No, but I'm just saying, like, because I know a lot of people when Caphras first came out, like, a lot of people complained about how Caphras was just going to further allow, like, the top geared people to get away from everyone else, and that it was, like, bad for the health of the game, and yada, yada, yada. And I don't know if, like, those people still believe in that, because I feel like I haven't really heard that argument in a good while, because now, like, everyone has Caphras in their shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're PvPing, you probably have Caphras somewhere in your gear. So I don't know. Whatever.
I think it evens the playing field more so for those kinds of players that had that kind of grievance originally. Like,
yeah,
it's just going to be easier for them to get caught up. You know,
for you personally,
relatively.
Rez, like, do you like just thinking selfishly, like not for anyone else? Like, do you like that the Caphras drop rate is going up? Do you feel like it's going to benefit you?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I don't really think about these things, man. I just play the game. I still need Caphras for my offhands because there's no Black Star offhand, so it's not like I don't need Caphras. I just need a lot less than everyone else. But I mean, on the flip side of that, like the price is gonna go down, and like I have sold Caphras before. It's not something I do regularly, but if it's like there's something on the market that I really want, and I'm like 100 mil short, it's like yeah, I'll just sell like a little bit of Caphras just to get that quick 100 mil. So like the fact that that price is going down kind of sucks, but I mean, I don't know. I don't sell Caphras on the regular. I don't think anyone sells Caphras on the regular. Like even people like me that are full Black Star, I don't think anyone sells Caphras like regularly. So I don't know. I think it's a positive thing overall, but yeah, I don't know.
Someone said, "Nah, Ashley's cat is calling the butler to give him food."
Yeah, that's probably not wrong.
Oh
He's always hungry.
Yeah, fucking cats. Yeah, I don't know. For me, well, selfishly, if I just think about for me personally, I am 40 bill away from getting a pen accessory, and then after that, I'm literally only gonna be getting Caphras stones for a good while. So for me, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so freaking nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be so nice because, well, one, I also don't love buying Caphras stones for a very long time. Like, there's something weird, like, psychologically with me that it feels bad when your silver is always at 0 when you grind every day. And that's kind of what the Caphras grind does. But I do like doing that occasionally, you know, like having breaks of, like, saving up a lot of money for a pen accessory. In between that, doing some Caphras is a nice like little change where you feels like you get upgrades a little bit easier. But I love that I'm gonna be able to grind. Like I was thinking about this, and maybe it won't actually be that efficient, but I'm one of these people that I change grind spots constantly, right? Like I'll go grind Star's End for an hour, maybe 2, and then I'll go do Secrea, and then I'll go do 1 hour at Orcs, and then I'll go do 1 hour at Bloody. Like I like to change it up so I don't just burn myself out on a grind spot. I love that now every time I go to one of those spots every day, I'm gonna get like a decent amount of Caphras stones from the daily. Like it's actually gonna be a significant amount. Like if I go do the daily at Turos, and then I go do the daily at Star's End, and I go do the daily at Secrea, like those 3 hours are gonna get me like 100 to 120 just raw Caphras stones, which is actually super cool.
Yeah, you'll always feel like you're making some sort of progression by swapping. You don't have to worry so much about the efficiency issue.
Even if I do blow up all of the tongue red rings I get from Secrea because the game doesn't want to give me duo for some reason, you know?
Well, I mean, I was discussing with Amerted on that, and we think your problem is you were doing duo attempts.
Oh, does he? Wait, what do you mean?
You should just buy tries, tap for 10, and then you go for the pen.
Amertat, literally all of his pen accessories he's made recently are starting from base.
Wait. I'm sorry, I have to correct you. It's Amertap.
Amertap, sorry.
Yes, he no longer goes by Amertat anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, here, Rez, this is a side question. If you had a close friend, and your close friend that plays BDO was 4 for 12 on pen accessories, would you be happy for him, or by the time the 4th one goes, you're like no longer happy for him?
4 for 12?
4 for 12 on pen accessories on 160 stacks. All of them are like
literally not a joke.
There's not a joke.
I mean,
so on
that's
a 160
like a really
stack,
fucking good rate.
Yeah, it 4 for 12 is, there's an 8% chance on each one. Amertat sent me a screen. Hold on, I'm gonna send you the odds. Oh, do you have the odds, Amertat? Oh yeah, here it is. 165 stack. This is proof. This is Amertat going for pen on his eye. Look at this, dude. Yeah, so he's 4 for, it's an 8.75 chance. Wait, Amertat, was it the DM you sent me the odds? Oh, let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, here it is. He sent me the odds. So the odds of going 4 for 12 on that stack with those chances. Oh no, he's 4 for 14. The cumulative probability is 0.01719% chance.
No, see, you're wrong. The chance is, 1 and 2. Like he either hits it or he doesn't.
Either hits it or he doesn't, dude. Hell yeah.
Dude, and I can't even get duo.
Those rates are like crazy insane. So it's like, yeah. That's still not as much of a cumulative chance as when I failed 32 Tri-2 necklaces in a row last season, though. So.
Yeah, that sounds rough, dude.
Because that was, I worked that out, and it was 0.00000000001% chance of happening.
I had poor Hunter. This is the thing too that sucks, is Hunter and Amertat have been like both going for pen accessories around the same time. Hunter maybe started a little bit earlier. So Amertat is 4 for 14, and Hunter is 0 for 24.
Fucking hell.
So if you're Hunter, how happy are you with Amertat's success, huh? Yeah, let's go.
Jesus Christ.
And that,
my guilty flex says that he's 1 for 38 on pin accessories on a 250 stack.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is
he says you're overstacking.
That's the other thing too, is Rage is on an actual proper stack. But that's why I like Caphras stones, everybody. When you hit that enhancement button and it has 100% success rate no matter your enhancement
feels so
level.
good.
Oh, it's so nice, dude. It's so nice.
I can relate to that. I definitely am not a fan of enhancing. That's partly why it's taking me so long to get these gains. The other part is I'm lazy as fuck when it comes to grinding, so.
You also got pretty RNG carried on your Griffin Helm recently.
I did, admittedly.
And you can thank me for that, for pushing you to push that stack up.
You did.
That could have been a nightmare.
154 stack took me 12 attempts with Croning. It was pretty good. Not bad. Definitely only cost me, I think, if I remember correctly, like 7 bill versus what are Griffins at right now? Like 19 bill.
Yeah.
So
Well, no.
yeah.
I think they're a lot less now.
Well, maybe now, but
Yeah,
when
they're
I was looking, they
tanking.
were 19, I think.
Yeah, let me see. They're like 18. The recent price
Yeah,
for
they
whatever
dropped
is
a
at
little bit.
17, but they're like 18.3 sitting on buy.
Yeah, they dropped a little bit. They were at 19 when I was looking to buy it, though. So yeah, it saved me over 10 bill.
Yeah.
I got lucky. Admittedly.
It's a nice feeling though, right? Are you going
Yeah,
for what Caphras level is it so far?
For my helmet?
Yeah.
It's on C7. I'm going for C8. I'm trying to make 3 bill in about 4 days time period, which is very doable. And just so I'm trying to get to C9 by end of week this week. That's my goal. And that's just on this piece of armor, obviously. I still get 2 other pieces. So I'm hoping like maybe a month. I'm thinking end of July. I might be able to pull off getting the other 2 armor pieces to C9. So by end of July, be full C9 armor with Duo Deck God. That'll be a pretty good spot for me. I'll be over 660 gear score at that point. So then I'll go back to AP. Yeah, Caphras are nice in terms of like getting caught up. Now that I got all my pen gear sorted out, it's the Caphras are just like helping me catch up relatively quickly.
Yeah. I like Caphras stones, dude.
You could argue though that Caphras kind of made the gear gap a problem in the first place though, by allowing everyone to inflate their gear scores.
Well,
But
yes. I mean, to an extent, yeah, that's true. But I feel like part of that is because they made it so difficult to get Caphras stones for so long.
Yeah, but now it's definitely a lot easier comparatively to how it was before when they first introduced them.
Dude, I actually can't wait for that. I hope we get it. I hope KR gets it next week and we get it the following week.
I don't see why we wouldn't. It's not like a massive change as far as like functionality of the game, you know?
Yeah. By the way, how long, when are you guys expecting Corsair Awakening? They said 4 to 5 weeks. I think with the Sage, they said approximately 4 weeks, and it ended up taking 5.
Yeah,
I mean, I would expect a month, honestly.
yeah, at least.
What about Raboms?
You should get those in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, didn't they do the like 2 weeks after Sage? Or no, 1 week?
It
2
was
weeks?
something like that. I think it was 2 weeks. I think it was 2, maybe 3. But they got the Raboms fairly early on after the Sage came out. They didn't wait.
Yeah. I could see Raboms in 2 weeks, Awakening in a month. I think that's kind of what they're aiming for, probably.
They waited forever on Nova. Remember, because the Raboms came out after
Yeah.
Awakening.
Yeah, the Raboms took a little long on Nova, which was a big complaint from Nova community.
Yeah.
What few of them there are.
No, Novas are. No, I don't know.
Novas are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, Novas
right
right now are like in higher end Node Wars. Novas are fucking everywhere.
That
Really?
I feel like
Dude.
Sage Awakening still needs a little bit of tweaks, at least in the 1v1 department.
I only
But
ever see like 1 or 2 in
Nova?
Node War, honestly.
Awakened Nova needs to be on
No,
the
dude.
chopping block next.
At high end gear, dude, their movement and kill speed is so insane right now. They're like borderline
Yeah.
meta. They're not like meta defining in like a wizard sense, but like if you ever hated ninjas because of the way they just come out of nowhere and kill you, you absolutely
Novas is
hate
the
Novas right
worst.
now. In high
Yeah,
and large.
it's just
they
a
come
different
from-
environment on T1s, right? Like on T1s, they can't just like obliterate you and leave like they could in like regular gear.
In large scale, they can come from a fucking mile away, and then all of a sudden you're dead. You're just like, what the fuck?
Well, until everybody's HP is capped at 2500, and then they can pretty much just kill you in like 3 skills and then get out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that kit needs to be on the chopping block next a little bit. It needs to tone down. I think Excel is just way too powerful, and then on top of that, its burst is insane. in general.
Yeah, that class is just kind of weird. I almost feel like it needs like a light rework in both Succession and Awakening, honestly.
Man,
Like it doesn't need to like overhaul it or anything.
I'm not
but just,
expecting too
I don't
many
know.
nerfs on classes anymore now that they announced that that reboot, though. To be honest,
Yeah.
I'm not really expecting, like, if there's a class, like if Corsair's Awakening ends up being fucking absolutely busted, I don't expect very many changes to bring it in line until after the reboot.
I do if people are complaining about it. They're not, I mean, just like they did with Sage, they're not going to sit there and leave a class that busted if people are complaining. I don't think that many people are complaining about Awakening Sage, even though it is really, really strong.
Yeah, it could be specific to my matchup. My matchup, it's just completely and utterly oppressive.
No, in 1v1, it's nuts in a lot of matchups. It's not just your matchup. It's cracked in a lot of matchups.
Yeah.
It's like
I know it's
insane.
large scale has been toned down though, right?
Well,
Overall?
its large scale is still really, 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 really good. Like one of the best. It's just that I feel like there's not as many Awakened Sages, at least in like the tier 2 like siege level large scale.
Yeah.
So people aren't complaining about it as much. And in like group fights, like you can still, if you're playing with your group, it's still like you can deal with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're really fucking strong, like crazy strong. Like that nerf Borderline did nothing.
But it's just weird seeing like the ones that were playing Awakening, they swapped off to Succession or went back to a different class. Like, why?
Well, some people like they made it a little bit more challenging to actually execute what it has to do, and people don't like that, dude. They don't like when they have to think even a little bit. It's rough.
Fucking meta rerollers, man. Meta slaves, man. It'd be like that.
I mean, there's still a lot. I mean, there's still a decent amount of Awakened Sages. Oh, I got a non-loot scroll disto right now.
Wow.
I don't know. In our
Congrats.
Node Wars, like I'm trying to think. Like there's usually like 2 to 4 sages in every guild we fight that are Awakening, and then maybe 1 or 2 that are suck.
Is it
Probably
really
somewhere
that?
around there. Yeah, it's somewhere around
I
there.
feel like I never really see the sages, the Awakened Sages.
You're probably dying before they get to you.
That's probably true, actually.
Or you have skill effects off, so the lightning is killing you and you don't even see it. That's probably what's actually happening.
On T1s, it's probably like one in every guild that we fight.
Yeah.
I have skill effects on. I actually do need to turn that off during large scale. Might help FPS a little bit.
I leave them on. I turn off the faraway ones, but I leave the skill effects on. I can't stand playing.
Yeah, I had the
with
far away ones off. Oh,
Yeah.
this isn't related to the topics for the podcast, but what's your thoughts on? I kind of like briefly talked to you about what your choices were for the upgrades on the rings and belts, but so I'm looking at it, and Multi had that that particular discussion the other day. I think probably a couple weeks ago at this point, but basically saying how the crit damage effectively is not very useful because it's just such a minor increase in damage versus what the HP can give you for tankiness and also block potential. And then there's also the belt upgrade question, with the DR being 10 versus the AP being 5. Obviously, AP is not affected by special evasion, so it's far more useful than, say, the crit damage.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel the DR on the belt is far more useful than the AP?
The belts, I think you can go either way. That on the rings, I think the HP is a little bit better. Although I don't think the crit is that bad. Like these are min-max upgrades. Like you're literally like, I don't know. They're min-max upgrades. If you are an assassin class and all you want is kill speed, then you probably still want to go crit. If you're a class that has to trade, which maybe Mewa is a little bit more in like the trading category than just showing up and killing someone before they know you're there, then maybe the HP is going to be more valuable. But I think like on a Ninja and a Kuno, personally, I prefer the crit. Although I'm actually eventually going to get Pen Eye of the Ruins and use the HP instead. But I don't think it's that big a deal either one you go, to be honest.
Gotcha.
Copying my strats, bro? What the hell?
What?
That's what I'm doing, is I'm getting HP upgrades for my the runes rings. I got 2 tets already.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I mean,
I mean, like, the only reason why I'm asking is because, like, you know, obviously my gear score is low now, but you know, when I Caphras up and get to like, you know, 360 plus, is that DR on the belt even going to be really impactful? And I don't feel like it will be. So in my case, where I'm, you know, trying to dip in, deal my damage, get out kind of thing, maybe do a little bit of damage trading here and there because, you know, I'm doing my SA skills, I'll get chipped, obviously. But, you know, would the AP be more valuable to me is essentially what I'm looking at. Even though it's only 5 comparatively to the 10 DR, the 10 DR doesn't feel like it's going to make a major difference. Whereas if the 5 AP helps me maybe get closer to a kill, I can get out sooner kind of thing. That's what I'm kind of like evaluating for these damn upgrades.
yeah.
And also because I hate doing imps, even though it's really easy to get the tearfuls. I fucking hate that place. So buggy.
Do Fogans instead.
But then it takes forever to get those tearfuls, right?
Yeah, but you like it, dude. But you're having fun.
No. I suppose. I haven't done Fogans yet, actually.
I don't think the drop rate is that much different between Fogans and Imps, as someone who's grinded quite a bit of both.
It's so much different, Rez. You're crazy. If you're doing imps efficiently, you literally can get like 10 plus an hour, and Fogans is nowhere near that. It's like 3 to 5, maybe. It's
What
like
the fuck are we talking about again?
the blue shards.
Oh, the blue shard. I thought you were talking about the necklace drops.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no.
I was like, what the
Don't care.
fuck?
No,
How are you
that-
getting 10 an hour?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know what the drop rate is on those. I'm just talking about the blue shards themselves.
Yeah, blue shards definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, do I really need to grind for the Tearful Knights? Or can
But I
focus
think that's just the
AP?
case with because Castle Ruins is the same way. Like I feel like I get way more red shards at Castle Ruins than I do at Orcs. Like way more.
You do, but Orcs I don't mind grinding, and I don't usually have time for group content, so the Orcs money is also better anyways, so I got shitloads of the Furious Knights. I have 265 of them, so
Shit, dude, I'll trade you.
Dude,
I need them.
I have one more request for the intern on Corsair. Shift Q, which is the leap skill. There's the 2 different skills where you can leap: Shift Q and forward RB. Shift Q gives you complete control over your character and where you want to go, and forward RB doesn't. Please make forward RB work the same way as Shift Q. Like if I want to land in the exact same place I started, I can turn my camera. If I want to go a little bit to the left, I can turn my camera. If I want to go to the right, I can turn my camera. Shift Q has like, you have full control over where you go. Forward RB is like it does that thing where you slowly turn like a bus. And I don't understand why, because they're both skills where you jump up in the air and then land. So
It's
yeah,
weird.
that's all I'm saying. Make forward RB control the exact same way as Shift Q, please. Be a huge quality of life fix so we can actually decide where we want to go with that skill in a lot more precise way. That's all.
Alrighty. I think we're good to wrap up, right?
Yeah, dude, we just gotta do comments. Remember those?
Yep. We have 2
Remember those.
videos. We have 2 videos of comments. Not a lot though. I don't think there was like hardly any comments on either video.
That's weird.
Probably because we didn't read comments on the last one.
Oh, so they feel neglected, so they're boycotting us.
So they weren't
Yeah, I
as
mean-
mad at us?
Last time I checked,
They-
there just wasn't a lot of comments on either one. Yeah, like the 113 has 3, which that's understandable because everybody skipped that one because that's boring compared to the Heidel Ball episode, which has 22. So we have 25 total. So it's really not a lot.
Yeah. All right, so just for those who don't know, if you want, comment on the YouTube videos. We read it every week at the end of the podcast. Sorry again for us being delayed on the videos. Rezlar's PC blew up for a long time. He's our video editor. So that's how that happened. And then our schedules didn't line up, so we couldn't even record like new ones. It was just weird.
Hashtag fuck AMD.
So on the first video on episode 113, there's 3 comments. Kashira says this still exists with a question mark. Stellar Mind Studio says yeet, and DC Skippy 01 says yay, more value pack. So there's that. And then oh no, wait. Wrong button.
114.
Yeah. 114 is the one that people actually kind of watched and commented on. So this one is, hold on, let me sort this. This one has 22 comments, dude. People had some stuff to say about the Corsair and the Heidel ball. All right, starting from the oldest comment, Happy Pofa says Final Fantasy 14 online looks dope.
Yeah, I believe that was in reference to oftentimes whenever I upload the video, YouTube quote unquote auto detects what game it is, and it for some reason like 50% of the time will say it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Fedong Chai Sangsi says it's been a while. Yes, it has. Balance Breaker says, God, I love the intro. LOL. Alex Iglesias says, what if for Corsair's Awakening they combine the thief pirate idea and water idea and make her a loan shark that took the homes of those in the Calpheon slums? Okay.
What the fuck?
I'm into it. Adele Manette Rivera says, I really don't like grapple resist at all. Their slow animation and fails a lot. And if they implement class changes, they will put grab resist to all classes / skills that has a long animation in which ninja / Kuno will have difficulty catching slow classes.
Hey, question, pause. Medaya questline, which one is short, left or right? I need help.
Oh shit. What's the easy Medaya questline? Anyone remember?
Is it the left or the right? I don't know.
Is there only
That's a
2?
good
I thought
question.
there were 3.
No, there's only 2.
What are they both called?
Until we meet again and for Altanova.
I'm seeing a lot of people saying left.
I'm going left.
1, 2, 3. Jack said left. He's trustworthy. He said right. Right is a bunch of bullshit.
All right, good to know.
All right. NXCBC says fix AOA mouse movement when if ranked arena ladders are like the little arena in BA but bigger than great. But if it has the broken mouse movement like AOA, it's so disappointing. Classes like Zerker and Lawn are really handicapped. I know you guys probably don't get why it's such a huge deal, but it makes the classes I'm currently interested in feel unplayable in AOA. I don't know why you'd think that we don't think it's a big deal. Rezlar's complained about mouse movement and how important it is a lot. And I also mentioned multiple times that AOA mouse movement doesn't work, like during the casts and on this show. Additionally, what a weird clip at the end, to be honest. I've only been playing this game for a year, but for the past few months, it seems like this game is going in a good direction. Referring to Moreland's clip.
Yeah, and speaking of that, for anyone who doesn't pay attention to like when things get uploaded in the BDO community, Moreland uploaded a video yesterday to his YouTube channel. I actually have it pulled up right now, so I'll read you the title. It is Why I'm Leaving BDO After 5+ Years, parentheses, long, brackets, Black Desert Online, and a long video it is. It is 2 hours and 24 minutes. Before we started the podcast, I was kind of watching it and just listening to his points, and he brings up some viable points. To wrap up kind of my thoughts on what I've listened to so far is essentially what we said last week, where I feel like he's focusing a lot on the past and, you know, even the present a little bit. But like I said last week, I think the future for BDO, we
It's
could
looking
potentially
better. Yeah.
we could potentially be moving into a golden age of BDO, and that's not to say that there's not going to be problems and there's not going to be issues and that PA isn't going to do scummy shit, because of course they are. But like at this point, if you're still playing BDO, all that shit's baked into the cake. And what I mean by golden age is like we could be moving into a point of BDO where it's as good as it's going to get, essentially, which is all you can hope for if you still play and enjoy this game. So
Which
yeah,
could
I
be
don't
an
know.
awful feeling depending on where we
Yeah.
are with it, because you could be like, wait, is it still going to get better or is it going to just progress horribly downward from here on out.
So if you're interested in hearing Moreland, who, for people who maybe don't know Moreland, we've had him on the podcast before. He's like one of the longest standing members of like the BDO content creator like community. He's been streaming forever. He's been making videos and guides forever. So he has a lot of knowledge, and his opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean more than anyone else's, but he's coming from a very interesting place. So if you're interested in hearing his thoughts on why he is leaving the game, go check out that YouTube video and listen to what he has to say. I put that bitch on 1.5 speed to make it go a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to watch the video. I don't have too many opinions on his thoughts. I just kind of like skimmed through each of the sections.
I do have to agree. His thing on the whole horse breeding thing, that's like totally fucked. I didn't realize how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, I mean, he brings up a lot of valid points, but again, it's like these are, I mean, I don't know, not to beat a dead horse, but like these are all, he's complaining about things that have happened in the past / are currently happening, and it's like, give them a chance, like raise awareness, like one thing at a time, and see if they'll do something about it. And if they won't do something about it, then in all likelihood they'll say that they're not going to do anything about it, like with the whole like no mercy for treasure items. Like that's something that I've been very outspoken about, and I know a lot of other players have been. Like we've been saying, like there should be a mercy mechanic for treasure items because this shit's dumb. And they straight up came out and said, no, we're not going to do that. We have no plans to do that. And we think that it goes against the idea of a treasure item. So if nothing else, give them the time to at least say why they think that it's fine, or, whatever else, I think, because it seems like they legitimately are trying to like make some changes in how they like handle things and react to the community and things of that nature.
Yeah,
so
they're definitely listening.
I don't think they're a blanket opposed to mercy items because they added them for the outfits. I think
they
they're
said
opposed to adding it to
the
existing
old treasure items.
Yeah. I think they're opposed to adding it to items that are already in the game.
But that's the thing, is that like that's what a lot of people wanted, is they were like, hey, since there's mercy items for like the outfits, there should be mercy items for like the HP pots, and they were like, they basically said, yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
I mean, honestly, like as important as they can be, they are a collector's item kind of thing. So, and yes, I know some people have put in thousands of hours.
I mean,
once you get to like the late game, it pretty much is like necessary to have like infinite pots. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the infinite pots, I 100% agree. I'm talking about like the map and
the map and the compass less so, but like the infinite pot is the thing that's insane to me, because it's not just like, oh look, this is a thing that's like cool to have. It's like, no, this changes the game for you. Yeah. Like, I don't know, the fact that
I don't see that for like the map and the compass as much, but
wait,
yes,
no,
100%.
Why does it change the game?
What do you mean? It changes everything.
I mean, like, I played the game for 4 years without it, and I could just buy pots.
But there's all sorts of like little situations that are now like of like huge benefit to having, and it's like not like once in a blue moon sort of thing, like with a compass where it's like, oh hey, I can teleport my friend into Secrea or something.
It's literally quality of life though. It doesn't like give you an edge. It's literally like you can do the exact same things with the pots in the game.
I mean, I would argue it is an edge, but I mean, I don't
how
know.
though? In what way? That's what I'm trying to find out. Maybe I can understand
you can
better.
literally not run out of pots. I don't know how that's not an edge.
But you can. Like, you have storage maids. You have RBFs or infinite.
So now you have to stop to go fill up on pots, and in the middle of a fight, like you're gonna have to escape, leave entirely to go get pots.
No, if you're in a fight, like, are we talking like Node War? Because you respawn at your base every time you die. Are you just not ever dying?
I'm saying in general, like at a grind spot at
more
Node
like
War,
open world.
like if you're in the middle of a fight again, if I have to use regular pots and you don't, and we're 1v1ing in any context, I can run out of pots, and that now fucks me in this fight, and you do not.
In 1v1 though, are you talking in BA or open world? Because I mean, you can literally just have pots on you. I mean, you can buy pots at your tent. You could buy pot or bring them out of your market. You could bring them out of your storage.
In the middle of a fight?
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, if you die once,
Like while we're fighting.
There's no consequence in this game for dying. So after you respawn, you just pull them out if you had 0.
No, Frosty, I get called trash when I die all the time. It hurts my feelings.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's still, what you're describing still is just quality of life. It's not like
it is.
You make more money per hour, or like, oh, I can't participate in endgame PvP because I don't have the infinite
I mean,
pot.
technically speaking, you do actually make more money per hour because you don't have to stop to go get pots. But
oh my god, I mean, if you plan your hour
I would argue. Yeah, I would say if you plan accordingly, it's not really big deals about pots. It's more or less you have to spend less on pots.
Listen, I'm not saying that infinite pots are required because I don't have them. So, like, yeah, it's not a requirement, but like the difference in like
it is very
what
nice.
you gain,
very, very
what
nice.
you gain for getting the infinite pots as opposed to the map, the compass, the outfits. It is insane how much of a benefit it is to have the infinite pot piece.
All right, I
mean, if
I gotta say the ghillie is far more
if your
impactful
argument is trash per hour, the compass.
That's not Nash, what the fuck are you saying? That is so out of left field. We are not talking about a cash shop item.
You said outfits though.
The treasure outfits, you fucking dingus.
Oh,
the
the
Larzeka outfit.
There we go.
And the
now
Nova
we go to
one.
name calling. That's what happens when you disagree. You have to insult people. All right, let's just
No,
move
he's
on to
being
the
a
comments.
dingus, so I'm calling him a dingus.
I mean, if you're gonna make the argument about money per hour, then you have to also make it for compass. If you don't have someone in your guild with a compass, you're losing a lot of money per hour getting to grind spots. Way more than pulling out pots and buying them once an hour. Way more.
And what if you can't even get the fragments to get into underwater Sakraya?
Yeah, plus you have to pay 30 mil for fragments, or if you're looking for History of Akhman, you have to spend sometimes 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. So add mercy mechanics for all these things because they're all necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I don't understand.
I think we've established the dingus here. So
I'm just saying it's not as big a deal as you're making it. They are super valuable.
I'm just saying that this is some I already have my pot piece propaganda. That's all I'm saying. This is some I got mine and now you have to get yours type of propaganda. That's all I'm saying.
I understand, and trust me, I don't have my pot piece or map or anything too. So I would really like for it to be easier too. I don't see them as essentials though.
I have experienced both
again,
worlds.
they're not acquired.
I love this
they're not required.
implication that I have no idea what it's like to have to use pots, as if I was like my account just spawned with the infinite pot pieces. That's I never lived life without the infinite pots, so I only know what it's like to have infinite pots. Is actually
I'm not saying
how easy you got it.
I'm saying you're like Bill Gates, where like you originally started your business in a garage, but now you're rich and famous and you don't care about poor people anymore.
That's not true, because I actually also think that there should be a mercy item. I just don't think it's as major of a deal to be like completely upset about it. Because the item is not a requirement.
In terms of like a degree of
because you're
disagreement.
taking it to a level that I just don't think it's at. That's why I'm just disagreeing with your level of intensity. The mercy item I think would be fine. I just don't think it's something to be like, nope, I'm fucking quitting this game. Fuck this game, because there's no mercy items on these treasure items.
That's not what I'm saying. Now you're putting words in my mouth.
That isn't what you're saying, but that's the context of what we're talking about with Moreland quitting the game. That's where this stemmed from. You said you agree with one of the things he talked about, like, for example, mercy items. That was your example. So if you don't want me to reference that example, then don't use that example.
But that's not what I said about in context of Moreland. That's what I said about in terms of they're listening.
Don't use that as an example if you don't want me to reference it. But I'm just saying you're making it more intense than it is. It's a convenience item that is helpful and nice, but it is not needed. And I know it's not needed because everyone in the game played without it for 4 years, and a lot of people at endgame still play without it.
Dad.
All right, let's move on.
I like when we fight.
You're not even listening to what I'm saying. So
okay.
let's go.
TriConnect says, in my opinion, they made a mistake of adding mermaids pre-awakening because they could have could have solid Cutlass Pirate class on pre-awake, suck and Mermaid as Awakening. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like,
It could be anything, man.
yeah, it could be anything.
We need to wait for a leak to come out.
With what they did with both Nova and Sage, like things have just gone out the window with like trying to predict what Awakenings could be.
Yeah.
Dreadspark says, welcome back, Reslar. On the discussion of Pearl Abyss being better on implementation of new features post Cacao, tagging costs like 3 bill plus was kinda a blunder, punished by success, and not having a price cap or trading is a huge yikes. In conclusion, they do things for some reason, always throw in an exception that is like, this would be perfect if not for blank, insert single item here, family inventory not allowing pots on release, just lots of little blunders or intentional trolls. I don't know. Hope y'all enjoyed Corsair. Shy stuff. Just want to warn people to watch their words, specifically calling players something that sounds like petal files. You put pedal space files. Super not cool, and honestly a fantastic way to make people hate you as a person / report / quit guild. Let's not play these kinds of games with that kind of toxicity, and the class is bad enough without it. We got other stuff going on. See Shy Discord or forums for further updates. Did you guys have anything to say about that?
I guess I'm confused. For some reason, I wasn't able to follow along with that. What exactly is going on?
You're saying
Did anyone on the show call Shy players that? I don't think
he didn't
anyone
say
did.
warn. He didn't say I want to warn you guys. He just said warn people. So I don't know.
Just like in general, like a PSA.
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough, I guess.
And
yeah, don't do that, I guess.
And I do agree with like the family inventory not allowing you to have pots, which by the way would also help solve the infinite pot thing. If you could just put pots in there, would be nice and use them out of that storage. The other thing too is like the tagging thing. I mean, I've gone on a bunch of times on stream about how I can't stand the way tagging scales up. It's absurd. I think it's absurd that somebody with 309 AP can tag for 1.7 bill, but someone with 316 AP has to tag for 7.2 bill. But that's just me. I also
the exponential growth of the cost.
Yeah, I also think it's very strange that we absolutely have to pay $10 to tag a second offhand when most builds, like a lot of people's builds, require 2 offhands, or in the case of like a new class release, when you tag, you can only tag the main hand and offhand, and then you have to spend a $10 plus the silver to add the awakening to the class later is incredibly stupid and toxic and like not what is the word?
It's scummy business practices is what it is. It's creating problems and selling solutions.
Yeah, it's literally predatory.
Yeah, predatory practices. That's what I was looking for. It's an absolutely toxic way of doing things. The Marnie's process fuel, we already have to pay a shitload of silver to add an extra weapon. Why the hell do we have to also pay $10? It's just so dumb. Like, that's the most common question I get asked. Like when Corsair comes out, like when I'm streaming, people are like, hey, I tagged my Corsair. Do you know what happens when Awakening comes out? Is it free to tag or do I just pay the silver? And it's like, no, you got to pay the silver and $10 for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like, so this is kind of back to like Moreland's thing, but there are some things like that where they create problems, and yeah, exactly. Like those issues I 100% agree with should not be a thing.
Yeah.
They're really dumb.
It just puts a bad taste in your player base's mouth.
Yeah,
like you don't want to do that. If you want it to be a choice, you want it to feel like it's a choice rather than a necessity. Yeah, you don't. I mean, to spend money on the game.
Weight and inventory.
It feels like a necessity with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Weight and inventory are like, I don't know, like some of the things I get, like there's a point where I get that it's a business. So there's like, they can do it to an extent or up to like a reasonable amount. It's just, there's some things that are like, why is a new player that's starting your game, if they, have 2 characters or whatever, they have to, the tag system is added to the game. It's in the game. New player comes in, they tag their thing, and they have to pay $10 for the item. It doesn't make any sense. And then it's like, I don't know. It's just there's some things that are like too far. Weight and inventory, yes, have always like worked in this way, but I don't know, like weight and inventory is another thing that you can kind of get by if you want without maxing them out. Like we have plenty of friends in our friend group, like Bear and Bloom, that don't even have max weight on their main characters. They've been playing for 5 years, and it's like they don't even mention it. Like it's like not even a thing that they think about. Like Bloom doesn't have infinite pots and he doesn't have weight, and he's like literally just I never hear him complain about it. He never says anything. It's like, but some things are like, I don't know, like the tagging thing is weird because coupled with the exponential growth, the fact that I have to pay $10 and 8 bill or 7.2 bill or 5.8 bill is crazy. I just think it's crazy. To try out another class that, by the way, if you like, you end up spending money on weight or costumes or inventory or whatever else for the class.
Like,
so
let your content sell the game for you. Like I'm playing this game, I'm buying value packs and, you know, Cama blessings here and there. Like if I can't fill my pre-orders, I'm spending money on the game, you know, like and I'm sure there's a ton of other players out there that are doing the same. Like I don't understand why they got to have those, you know, those gross kind of like situations in your example where you have to spend $10 just to do something that should be a part of the game.
Anyway. Where were we?
Rant over.
Oh yeah, that was in response to Dreadspark. Kenichi Sai says the last 2 episodes have been long overdue, man. I'm curious what Reslar's full PC specs are. I call that since Corsair is Petrigio's daughter, that her awakening is she smacks people around with a sack of some random shit. Sack of gold coins.
Oh man.
So Rez, are you comfortable talking about your PC specs? He's asking. You could say, or you could DM him if you want to not talk about.
I mean, it don't bother me none. It's 10 i5 10400F, I think. I believe RTX 3060. I want to say. 512 gigabyte SSD. What is I think 16 gigs of RAM at 2660, I think, like normal 3200 overclock, I want to say. So I don't know.
Are you doing overclocking?
No, it just has the capacity to if I want to, essentially.
Oh, okay. Nice.
All right. Chucky or Chucklehead1 says could be Trident, but mid-range caster makes a circle motion above her head and summons a whirlpool. All right, that would be even more surprising if they give her a Trident and make her a caster with melee damage. I would say that's a long shot. Probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards the tentacle thing or the Trident more so than that.
I think Nash, just wants tentacles.
Hey, you know.
Stellar Mind Studios says they did right to have her mermaid form on pre-awakening. Her final form is a shark.
That would be pretty cool.
I don't know. Is a shark even an upgrade from a mermaid? I feel like a mermaid IRL would fuck a shark up, dude.
That's a good question.
Daz says, what if the revamp is only just for adding the dumb movement inertia to old classes? Well, luckily now we know that that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That was a very serious concern for a lot of people.
Yeah. Benny Jet says, for God's sakes, man, get a new PC and you should go in AMD, you Intel shill.
Wait, what?
Nah, fuck AMD.
He was AMD. That's the problem.
Yeah, AMD was the problem.
Sirium says, Awakening gonna be a big fan, mark my words. That'd be interesting. Like a fan or like an umbrella type weapon, like one of those things.
Her Awakening? No way. That'd be weird. From Pirate?
Yeah, dude.
There's a van coming for pirating.
I don't know.
I guess I'm having a hard time picturing. Could you demonstrate?
I like are All right, here we go. We have Musassin. Musassin's comments are always an adventure. Here we go. I dare PA to fuck around and give Musa a grab as part of the rework. LOL joke. We don't need a grab. However, I welcome the animation changes. Lessen the animation frames, especially on Crust Crusher. Change the animation for Spinner. Rework Nemesis / one of the most useless T3 add-ons in Pre-Wake and Awakened Skill. And for all that is holy, make our kicks more useful than just draining our stamina. I actually
do you agree about the kick?
I actually agree with a lot of this stuff. Edit, quality of life change would be that would benefit all players that grinded out their infinite pots. Please, for the love of God, let us be able to put our infinite pots in family storage. Also tense when we have a character tagged.
I think that's fair about the infinite pot thing.
They'll never let you. They hate you guys.
Maybe for $10 they'll let you put it in.
Sirium, dude, Sirium says, so glad you guys talked about Moreland's response to the upcoming changes. Just listen to that pod before you uploaded this one. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's just having a bad day to begin with, but he really looked at every announcement and reached for a negative aspect of it that could pretty easily be outweighed by positive changes they could bring. So I'm going to say this.
Did they just recently update this during this podcast today? But on a previous one?
No. What update? What?
Because they said we talked about Moreland's thing, but Moreland
at the end of our last podcast. Yeah, we did. Do you not remember? He had that clip that Reslar shared that was like,
oh shit, that's right. That's wow. Sorry, I forgot all about that clip. That's true.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that.
So I'm gonna say this about the event, because I think it's a totally valid. One of the things he talks about in his podcast or in his video, and that I think a lot of people should hold Pearl Abyss's feet to the fire. They continue to announce things that never come out. This recent announcement, they gave release dates for everything, or almost everything. These need to happen, and I think people should be angry and complain to them if they don't happen.
Yep.
Like,
You're talking about the stuff specifically with the dates, right?
Yes.
If they're not 100% sure. Now, I understand if they announce something and the entire player base says, no, that sucks, we don't want that. That's one thing. But to announce things that everyone gets excited about and then to never release it is exhausting after a while. And I do think that they heard that feedback, and that's why they gave these dates. They also, for the first time ever, announced a cancellation of a previous announcement, which is like the Thorn Tree thing, which they've not really done in the past. So
at least people aren't holding out for that anymore. They might be upset that it was canceled, but at least they're not holding out for it anymore.
Yeah. Rez, do you have that clip? People are asking for the clip of Moreland from... I can't remember.
I totally forgot about that clip, and since he released the video, I thought they were talking about the video.
Was it in this? Oh, yeah, you linked it here. I have it.
Yeah, it should be somewhere in here.
Yeah, I linked it. Yeah, so I 100% agree though. Like all of these dates, we need to hold them to these dates. I'm so excited for the PvP stuff. I'm really excited for Terra the Deep Sea. I'm pretty excited for the dungeon stuff. Not that excited, but kind of excited for the dungeon stuff. The trading revamp seems awesome. The Calpheon Elvia realm also seems awesome. The character reboot especially, like, these things need to happen. These cannot be announcements that don't come to fruition. So yeah, hold their feet to the fire, complain, all that stuff if these dates are passed and we don't get anything. Like, these things need to happen. They need to, or just do not announce stuff that you're not going to release. Announce it only when you're 100% sure you're going to release it. Stop announcing stuff you have no intention of releasing. They're basically Googling us, dude. This is what Google does with like Android and all of their OSs. Like, they announce all this like cool stuff, or they come out with new products and then they just like disappear after like a couple months. If anyone uses Android, they would know by the 10 different messaging apps that we've had on Android over the last 7 years that are half of them are just gone. Allo, Hangouts, Duo, like Google Messenger, all these random things that are literally gone. Like, that's how Pearl Abyss is, dude. I don't know. So anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, Chasm, they announced during the Hideout Ball, at some point during the middle, I believe it was when they were talking about the 10v10 arena. They said the 10v10 arena is going to take the place of the formerly announced Thorntree Castle, and that Thorntree Castle is not going to be a thing anymore. They actually like announced that it's not happening, but that the map area is still going to be used for the 10v10 PvP arena. But the original idea of Thorntree Castle is canceled.
I wonder what was wrong that they decided to cancel it. Just wasn't fun or what? I don't know.
No, the class reboots are coming in October, and once they come out, they said it'll take 2 to 3 weeks for all 17 to be out. Not that it's coming 3 weeks after the Hideout Ball. So in October is the class reworks.
What was the? I'm not sure you clarified that well. For as far as like how are the classes coming out? Is it only like 3 at a time, but like every week or?
No, they just said all they said is that they're gonna rework 17 of the classes. All of them are coming in October, and they said once they release like the first class, the rest of them will be finished within a 2 to 3 week time. So like it's not gonna be like one class a week or 2 a week.
So it's not gonna be like the Warrior reigns supreme for the next month.
Over 3 weeks, they're gonna release all 17.
Thank God.
That was all they said. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, as far as the dates though, like if they announce stuff, they need to, especially with dates. Like I feel like it's gonna be even worse now if they announce release dates and this stuff doesn't come.
And then
yeah.
So
it's like the Nova thing all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. The Spoon Elite says, I'd like to see the Awakening either be explosive based, tossing grenades around, somewhat like Archer's arrow explosion, or a full body transformation of some kind. Ash from Final Space comes to mind if you've seen that, taking Black Spirit possession to the next level, floating above the ground and her hair whipping around her. Then again, I am invariably wrong about these things. Also, I really appreciate that so far she isn't hypersexualized like most of the female classes, with only her suck outfit showing her belly button.
Give it time.
I'll be disappointed if they change that with her Awakening costume.
Give it time.
Dude, all I saw were a bunch of
what?
angry, thirsty people mad that her normal outfit isn't open in the front like it was in one of the pictures, apparently.
I think I figured it out.
In the front if you hide cape.
I know what her Awakening
Oh,
is
if you
be.
hide cape, it's open?
Yeah, it takes her blouse off. It's weird.
Oh, that's not a cape? I was wondering because I was pressing the hide cape button expecting for like the backside to go away, and I was like, oh, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Like some costumes just don't do anything. So I was like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, it hides her not cape.
Interesting.
I think she's gonna have a scuba diver awakening. That's what it's gonna be right there.
Chibi Neko says, gun classes breaks the game. Think about it. Also, the block break, no recovery is balanced 1v1, but if there's 2 or more mermaid, it's unavoidable, makes it kind of OP. It could be.
I don't see how gun classes break the game. I don't know why people say that.
I don't think so either. I just, for me personally, selfishly, I don't enjoy gun classes that much.
Yeah. And if you think like aesthetically they look lame, then like sure, but like there's been a lot of people who say like, oh, the guns wouldn't fit in with like the game world, and it's like, I don't know, we have guns, like we have muskets. I've just learned today watching Moreland's video that we have sniper rifles apparently for hunting.
Yeah.
I mean, Berserker has a cannon on his arm. Like, I don't know why guns wouldn't make sense in like the world.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so yeah, I don't think it breaks. I just think it's like lame. I don't know, for me personally, but I've never liked that in fantasy games specifically. Pink Master says, since 2018, I've been attacked without warning while grinding maybe 4 to 5 times total. Every other time people ask for duel for spot or how long I have left and leave. Can't imagine there's a problem with people killing others for no reason. Arsha doesn't count. Yeah, because Arsha, you're there for it. Yeah, I think it's different server to server, honestly. I really don't think people are just straight up getting killed that often. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen. And I'm sure the people that have been attacked multiple times by the same person or they're being harassed is like different experience. I just think for the most part, for how harsh the penalties are, I don't think that they're related to our server, at least not on NA. Maybe EU's a little bit different. But for how harsh they're making all the karma plus the infamy stuff, like you would think that it's like dangerous to ever go to a grind spot because you're just being slaughtered by these geared players constantly, and there's nothing you can do, and you can't progress by the way they're making changes. So I don't know.
Yeah. Like it's a rampant fucking epidemic throughout BDO that you can't leave town without like having to fight for your life or something.
Yeah. Franks80 says, I kind of agree with Moreland. I don't really like 1v1. I feel like there's too much RNG with resist, and just whoever lands the first grab wins. I like groupie PvP. Even though they promise us all this content, they seem to put such low effort into PvP content. Just look at the 1v1 arena in BA. It's the laziest development in a game I've ever seen, and same with the RBF Garmoth map. I don't think they will ever put dev time to PvP because they don't earn money. They will move the game into the seasonal class release style till everyone quits, but I really hope they don't. I don't know. They sounded like they were pretty into this PvP season thing, and it's the first time they've announced it, so it does seem like they're leaning towards something PvP related in the game. I do think they can make a lot of money by allowing trials to buy costumes too. The Awkward Ninja says,
really? Trials to buy costumes?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that kind of took a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the trial tournament, in my opinion, is that everyone looked the same with that ugly-ass bib.
Yeah, no uniqueness to them, no color scheme weirdness going on.
Yeah. The Awkward Ninja says, I think you guys missed what a lot of us got out of the green gear. The green gear is used to get the absurd AP requirements for Calpheon Hadoon spots, which starts at 290 AP and progresses to 340. Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I got from it too, that it was going to be like, I know, almost like weapon drops, but for like green gear in the Hadoon spots to help people that don't have gear like participate in those spots occasionally. I don't know.
Wait.
Yeah.
It would still be weaker though, right?
I don't know. They didn't. I mean, they just said they didn't say. They didn't give any like exact numbers, so we have no idea.
No, I meant like in that particular comments, like reasoning, they were using the green gear to meet those spots.
Well, no, that's what they announced at the Hideout Ball, is that there's going to be, they're considering or they're thinking about or they're adding green gear to help like lesser geared players participate in some of the end game content.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it was so much adding as like reusing gear that's irrelevant now.
Yeah, or that reworking existing shit gear.
So like Aswell and fucking Elsh and shit like that. And I suppose, again, you know, who knows what they'll actually end up doing, but that's one of the things they're considering.
Probably give it like PvE buffs to those items to make them relevant for those locations.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that without just making green weapons Elvia weapons, right? Like, how's that gonna work?
What it kind of sounds like, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Jang did another Caphras update video. Thank you. Wait, who was it that said that? Oh, Winter in chat. Let me see. He did one in Secrea. Let me get to his numbers. Secrea is the one I'm curious about because I'm in there a lot. I like Secrea. All right, so in Secrea,
this is so AIDS to get to if you don't have like compass buddies.
No, the mermaid do.
Oh, true.
No, yeah.
Well, even still, you need the item to get in.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so he did in 15 minutes. He got 4 raw Caphras stones and 5 dust. That's actually nuts. That means it'll be 20 Caphras stones an hour.
Oh.
And then he does Upper Secrea as well. Ooh, Upper Secrea could be interesting. I wonder how much he gets in Upper Secrea. Where is this? Let's see. Sorry for the radio listeners at home. I'm skimming through the video to get to his results. Dude, 20 Caphras an hour. I'm super into that. Wait, Upper Secrea, he got 6 raw Caphras stones and 5 dust.
What?
What a monster, dude. My God. Upper Secrea might act, dude, if they when they make the pop piece like available at that upper spot for those occasional whatever it is.
Events.
Yeah, those occasional events.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that spot's gonna be good. Like if you're getting 22 Caphras stones an hour there, that's actually nuts. The last comment on the YouTube video is maybe her awakening is a pistol, a Zerker hand cannon, and a harpoon.
Got to make sure we hit them all.
Dude, I like that some people are going like all in on the whole pirate thing, and they're like, dude, her awakening's gonna be a hook hand, and I'm like, wait, so when she C-swaps, she literally just loses
Yeah,
her hand?
that's what we
No, it's
talked
like-
about last week.
It's gonna be one of those pirate costumes where you would like your hand would be inside of the little like thing that the hook sticks out of, and then you just hold on to it. You know,
Yeah.
maybe she just has a giant fishing hook, like a comically oversized fishing hook that she just swings around.
I also think a lot of people forget that a hook is a handicap. It's not like you don't want the hook. The hook is because you lost your hand. It's not like a weapon you seek out if you have two usable hands. You usually seek out a weapon that's a lot more, you know, threatening than a hook. Dude, I hope they do something unique. That's all I really hope. I don't know what they could do. I do obviously like hope they stick with the water theme, but I know there's a very, very good chance that they do not do that. But I do hope they do. We'll see. Her awakening weapon is a surfboard. All right, that's the last of the comments. If you guys want to comment on the YouTube videos, we will watch. We are back to our normal, regularly uploading YouTube and Spotify and iTunes schedule. So apologize for the last 4 weeks. From here on out, we'll be back to normal. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Appreciate that. Resler, you want to close us out?
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody for watching / listening. Leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on Corsair. Whether you like it, you don't like it, what you think the awakening is going to be, etc., etc. Shout out to the patrons and to the Twitch subscribers on our Twitch channels. You can find those in the description. You can find Frosty at twitch.tv/SoFrosty, Nyashi at twitch.tv/Nyashi_NA, and myself at twitch.tv/NotReslar. And yeah, I think that's everything. Everybody take it easy. We'll see you next week.